Hey guys, it's the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for April 21, 2024. We're going to talk about, I guess, a lot tonight. The RBC Heritage Day 4, NFL Draft Talk, Game of Thrones Season 2 rewatch, and a bunch of other stuff as we usually do with Tom. But please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would mean a lot to us. If you really want to help support the show, please consider super chats and super stickers. We had a bunch of super chats and super stickers from Kevin Kovac on Tuesdays, like $30 worth. And then on Thursday, we had Slew and also John Sanders. John Sanders kind of one up Slew with 1 cent more at the very end. So it was pretty funny. Yeah. So all that mean a lot to us because YouTube ads pay nothing, like $1 at most per episode, sometimes even less, like sometimes like 75 cents. So if you want to keep the show going and support us, that's one way to do it. Another way is to go on Amazon and buy Jerks of the College Years. That's my latest book. It is based on all my stories from college, all the weirdos that I met throughout my 6 years at Penn State. And Tom knows some of them, of course, because we lived on the same floor. So
I was one of them. No, I'm not.
No, you're not. No, you somehow remained. Yeah. So no, you were not in the book, but you knew some of the people in the book.
I sure did.
Yeah. So some interesting stories there. So if you like Jerks of the Week, I think you'll like this. So that's another way to support the show. But yeah, we are joined by Quacky T. Tom, how are you?
Good, Walt. Here we are again, and I'll tell you what. Finally, I was telling you for weeks, I kept forgetting about the golf. Like Thursday just would always sneak up on me, and then last week I finally remembered, and I hit Scheffler top 5, and now I'm in position to get a couple. I have Thigala top 5, and then I have Aubert to win, which I don't know if that's going to get there, but interested to see your take on the hedges, and also thank you for all the insight. You got some great golf insight. I placed very high in a couple DraftKings contests today. I sent you the screenshots. I had a first place finish in just for like the day 3 golf. So thanks a lot, man, for all the input, and you've done really well with it. So and I'm a better DFS player for it. And I'm not that good to begin with, but I guess I'm doing something right or lucky.
Well, no, congrats on the win. That was awesome. Yeah, you sent me the screenshot.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And no, I mean, you made some great calls yourself. Like you played Gary Woodland out of nowhere. Like I would not have played him, but you did, and he did great today. So it's
really
great call on your part. So yeah, congrats on that. Yeah, we'll build a day 4 lineup, and we'll talk some hedges for if you have some bets going. We have 2 live guys going, and I'll kind of lament about my non-Scotty Scheffler bet, and I'll get to that in a second. But we have some comments at the show. Eric says, Tony Pauline said today on a Seahawks podcast that Troy Fautanu has some knee issues. Have you heard anything about that? I have not, but we're going to have Charlie on the show, I believe, on Tuesday. So Charlie's going to give us the latest and whatnot. Maybe he's heard something as well. I personally have not, but yeah, these injuries tend to creep up on us, and they're if you ever wonder why a player drops in the draft, it's usually because of injuries and teams flag that player. So if Fautanu falls because of that, I could, it wouldn't surprise me, but I know Dallas likes him a lot, or at least they did. I don't know if they know about the knee issues. It's worth noting though that the Cowboys took Leighton Vander Esch a few years ago when one team, Charlie reported this, one team removed Vander Esch from the draft board completely because there were like severe neck issues. We actually got a ton of flack for that. There was some draft sites were like, this is nonsense. No team removed him from the draft board, as if they talked to every team in the NFL. Like they just know. And it was funny. I've said this before, but they had a quote. This like, we have a quote from a source saying that no team removed Vander Esch, and like their quote was word for word what Vander Esch's agent sent me. So like it was like their source was Vander Esch's agent, who's like obviously going to talk his client up. That's his job. So I thought that was so funny. I really regret not outing these people because I could have screenshotted the text that Vander Esch's agent sent to me. But I wasn't super active on Twitter back then because I like we had the forums going and and everything else, and I always wanted to keep all the discussion on the site, which is I guess a mistake in hindsight. But yeah. So anyway, long story short, I have not heard anything about this, but we'll have, like I said, we're gonna have Charlie on at some point next week, so he'll talk about it.
Speaking of that, Walt. So like I've always been interested in your perspective of like dealing with trolls and people that give you a hard time online. Has that always been like from jump when you started your website? You would have people writing and sending you hate mail and stuff. Is that something you dealt with from jump, or did it take a little while to get? Because I always think you handle it so well, you can let it roll off of you. And I think I really learned that from you. I kind of like getting trolled at least a little bit. Like everyone deserves to be roasted, but like I never let stuff like that bother me. And I think I've kind of like learned that from you in a way. So like, did that happen? Like, have you been getting trolled for 24 years now? Since the site
Site's gonna be 25 in November, which is it's kind of insane. But not all 25, because like the first couple years, like no one knew about the site. Like we had like the first couple years we had like 50 hits a week, and like 10 of it was my traffic. But once it got to like year 3 or 4, I started to get some hate mail, and I don't know, I just never really cared too much about it. There was like one exception where it was the 2005 NFL playoffs, and 2006, and it was 2005. Sorry, that was the year that the Steelers beat the Colts, and I used to be a columnist for the Center Daily Times. So this is not like technically my website, but the Center Daily Times is kind of like a medium-sized newspaper in the middle of PA, and it's close to Penn State. So if you're ever Penn State, you know what the Center Daily Times are. So I used to have my own column there. It's called Walt's Wild World of Sports. And for one column, I wrote that there was no chance the Steelers are going to beat the Colts because the Steelers lucked into a win against the Bengals the week before because Carson Palmer got hurt. And I thought, like, the Steelers team is so undeserving. And I know, like, there are a lot of Steeler fans, obviously, at Penn State. So I wrote that column. And, of course, the Colts, as double-digit favorites, lose outright. Steelers win. And I swear, it was like every 15, 20 minutes, I'll get new hate mail. They're like, you're a terrible writer. You suck. Like, you should do something else. And like, I'm 21 then, and I'm still a young guy. And like, I was like so upset about it. That like,
interesting.
I got this wrong and everything. But that only lasted like one day. And like the next day, I'm like, I got a prediction wrong. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the long run. And so I like ever since then, I just haven't cared. Like whatever hate mail I get, I actually like the hate mail because I think it's fun to respond to. I like posting it on the site. So I always respond to all of it, and I think it's fun to troll these people back.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the viewers and myself included and enjoy it as well. But I never had that many troll, when I was doing my daily sports picks, and like overall, I think I picked like 200 some games, and I think I was up 45 units. So overall, like if you followed my picks, like they did very well. But I mean, you remember? I mean, you were following me when I was I was making them. I would post them on Twitter here, and like, did you like? Is there a game that sticks out in your mind that like you were really really confident in, and you just like whiffed hard, and people were like maybe it was your pick of the month. And like people were just like, "Are you freaking kidding?" Is it like become like an avalanche of just hate? Is it something that you can just roll off of you now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was that Colts Steelers game basically, but after
is that the one that sticks out in your mind the most?
Because dude, I swear I must have got like 50 or 60, maybe even 70 like hate mails for like it was like on the dot. It was like every 15, 20 minutes a new one would come in. And this is back in 06 or no 05. And so so like it was kind of new to me to get all these hate mails in a row. So that did bother me, but I kind of remembered like my sports writing professors talking about like you have to have thick skin and stuff like that. No, I always thought I did because like if I got mocked before, it was for something stupid, I thought, but like getting something way wrong like that, it really bothered me. But no, when I get like picks of the month wrong now, like I'll definitely get some hate mail, but I'll be like, if it's way off and someone's like, "Oh, nice pick, idiot," I'll be like, "Oh man, it was so like it'll be like 45-10 a loss." I'll be like, "Yeah, if it wasn't for that one play, we would have won." So, like I always like try to find funny responses because
Right, right.
it's impossible to be right all the time. You're gonna get stuff wrong. So there's no shame in that. I think you just have to have a good process, and you kind of have to learn from your mistakes, and just kind of trust what you do, I think.
For sure. And I'll tell you what, that is something that you really helped me do, because I used to make one of those videos every single day. And I was always worried. And also I took a lot of I took almost all underdogs.
Mhm.
Most of my picks are underdogs when I did those videos, and I had a really good record. But you never want to make like a bold prediction, and like now you have a video out there of me. It's like saying, and then people are going to be like, oh, like, nice pick, you freaking moron. But I don't know, that really never bugged me. But also, I didn't miss too many of those, like, really bold ones a couple times. But I had one, because, like, that would bother me more. I don't want to have egg on my face after it. But I did do one video. It was October 2022. And my pick for the day was Houston Astros, under team total runs under 3.5. They're playing the Phillies. They scored 5 runs before the Phillies ever recorded an out in the first.
Nice.
I was just like it literally couldn't have gone any worse.
Well, at least you didn't have to swear it out.
Yeah. One time, I never. Some people are really into the nerfy and yerfy, the yes run first inning, no run first inning.
Mm-hmm.
One time, and I would, when I first started betting on sports years ago, I'll try this out. I bet a nerfy, so no run first inning. The first pitch of the game was a home run. It's like, I wasn't even mad. I started laughing. It was like a $10 bet. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. The first pitch was a home run. All my dreams dashed. But
I mean, all those seem like roulette spins to me, anyway.
Yeah, I haven't done a yerfy or a nerfy in a very, very long time. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I used to have a couple people that would troll me. I would make the pick, and in between the time of me posting the video and the game starting, be like, oh, you're an idiot. You'll be on here next week saying this. Every time that happened, my pick won. every single time.
Well, at least they did it before the game. Like the ones who are hindsight complainers and stuff like that. It's like, oh, why didn't you say, oh, this is a stupid pick before the game, and if you got the game right, like, they would not say anything. It's
yeah. Let me. Well, first off, it's funny because I was actually going to maybe bring this up today and tonight on the show, and you happen to mention it. That Seahawks-Steelers Super Bowl. I think that's so interesting, because I made a note to maybe bring it up, and you brought it up before, without me telling you. Do you think that Super Bowl was rigged? You ever hear or see like the YouTube videos on how like the refs made some bad call? There was like a holding negate a Seattle touchdown.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of bad calls in the game.
And I think one of the referees said, like, he made a statement and just said, like, he has. I don't know if he said he had trouble sleeping tonight, but something to that effect, like. He knows, like, they made bad calls, sort of thing. But I don't know. I knew they were going to win that Super Bowl. I thought, whether it was rigged or not. Once they beat Indy that year, because I'll never forget that game. Remember, they couldn't convert on 4th down. The Colts couldn't, and they were on their own too. And I was dating this girl, Jamie, at the time, and it was in my dorm. It was the year after we lived next door to each other, and. I told her, I was like, would you, they're on the Colts 2-yard line. They could just kneel it. And I said to her, I was like, would you run it in or would you kneel it? And she goes, I'd run it in. And I said, I'd kneel it. And no sooner did I say that, boom, that ball. I remember Ben Roethlisberger had that shoestring tackle.
Yep.
I remember I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But once they won that game, I knew they were going to win the Super Bowl. But okay. I don't know. I didn't realize until many years later that there was like controversy over like a lot of the calls, but I've seen the evidence, I guess, on it, and it does seem like some of the calls were pretty bad. But
there are a lot of terrible calls. I remember like watching it live. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I never thought it was rigged though. Like, there could be just bad calls. Like, refs make bad calls all the time. It just happens that all the bad calls went against Seattle, but. I don't know if there's like any evidence to say that the game was rigged. Like, if an NFL's game is gonna be rigged, and like there are occasionally rigged games, it's going to be a game between two bad teams in October. It's not going to be the marquee Super Bowl game. Like, not going to rig the Super Bowl. But like I could see, like I could understand like why Seattle fans would think that way, because all the calls went against them. But it was just a bad officiating event, and that tends to happen a lot. Like we've had like really bad officiating recently. It seems like it always gets worse too.
No, it definitely seems like it's trending. I think it seems like it's trending in that direction as well. What team would you say, in your opinion, is the greatest NFL team of all time, or at least like, or if you can't pin down one, like what you can give a couple?
Oh, the greatest team of all time. I mean, like you have to mention the 72 Dolphins, but I never saw them play live. It's 10 years before I was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say then like of your lifetime, but I don't know. Like I would, for me, I would say it's the '85 Bears, probably.
I mean, I didn't get to watch them either. I was 3. I don't remember.
You ever go back and watch the old games and stuff? I do that a lot.
Yeah, but like it's a different game though. Would they? I mean, they'd still obviously be great now, but like, would they still be the best like now if you compare like them to the athletes these days? It's hard to say.
Right.
And it's a different league now too, with the pass interference rules and stuff like that. A lot has changed. So I just don't know how they would compare it to teams these days. I don't know.
Remember the 2007 Patriots season, and the Patriots were just on right on cue. John Sanders, how's it going, my friend? Right on cue. And they would do this segment like once a week, and Bill Parcells would sit there in like this fancy chair, like he's some like mob boss, and they would compare him to like the Patriots to the 72 Dolphins to the 85 Bears, and every team he's like, the Patriots would have beat him. The Patriots would have beat. It's like, where do you? I don't know. Like, how do you come up with something like that? Like, you ever hear like a fan like say like, oh, like if we just hadn't like lost that game, like we definitely would have won the Super Bowl. Like we definitely would have beat the Patriots that year. It's like, but it didn't. The game didn't happen. So right. I don't know. Like maybe that's like something kids said when they were like in school, like younger.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it like I said, it's tough to compare. Like 07 Patriots, as John brought up, 98 Vikings. I think I have a chapter in my other book, a safety and a field goal, the top 5 teams to never win the Super Bowl. So the Vikings were definitely in there.
That team, Matthias, holds a very special place in my heart. I think they're the best team I've ever seen in my lifetime, even though they didn't win the Super Bowl. Oh, Randy Moss's rookie year. Remember that Thanksgiving game against Dallas? Yeah. Three receptions, 3 touchdowns. It was like 167 yards. They're just bombing it out to him. Randy Moss is my favorite player of all time. Randy Moss is my favorite NFL player of all time. Yeah. He was remember that playoff game against the Packers when he nooned the fans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that call by Joe Buck. He goes, that is a disgusting act, but it's like, no, it's not.
He thought it's like he didn't actually take off his pants.
yeah, like he just like shook his butt a little bit. It wasn't, but I think in the moment, like he probably thought he had to say something, and like it just kind of came out like word. But I don't know. A lot of people don't like Joe Buck, but do you like Joe Buck?
No, not at all. I think nepotism played a factor in him getting his job. I don't think he's particularly that good. I just, he's okay. I don't think he's like bad at his job though. But he seems so like condescending at times. Yeah. I just don't like the vibe of him, and I just like. I think I think like his personality lends more to baseball, and like granted, I'm not a baseball fan, but just the way he announces it, I think. Like I imagine him being better in baseball than in football, but like I just don't think he's really that good of a football announcer.
I don't disagree. He has had some really good, and I know a lot of people share your sentiment. A lot of people don't like Joe Buck. He has had some really good calls. Some of my favorite calls were by Joe Buck, but he does. I agree. He seems he can be a little condescending at times, but I think his technique is pretty good, and I really do enjoy good announcer. The Minnesota Miracle, so Stephon Diggs, that's a great call. Like it really, like you could hear, like he really sounded genuine. He really sounded genuine, and that's one of his best. That's one of my favorite calls actually of all time. Another good one that I wouldn't put it in my all time, but that I love. Remember the year the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2010, 2011, and Tramon Williams had that pick six to close out the first half.
Yeah.
Joe Buck had a great call, like because they were trying to the Falcons were trying to get just like one more play, get a few more yards for a shorter field goal. He's like, pass is picked off. Tramon Williams, he may go, because they tried to bite off more yardage and they just got burned. And I mean, as a Packers fan, I was laughing so hard. I was like, that was a great call. I was loving it, obviously, but
yeah. I don't know, just never a fan of Joe Buck. I always thought like he was the weakest announcer. And like I forget what exactly he and Aikman did. Like they kind of like badmouthed the military. Like at one point when they
had like a hot mic situation.
Yeah, they were off the air and they're like, I forget exactly what they said, but like I remember it being pretty bad.
Yeah, I heard of it, but I actually don't know what they said.
I did hear it, but it was a long time ago. I can't remember exactly what they were talking about, but it was not a good look. And I didn't. This is like I already formed my opinion on them, so like this is not like what determined my disdain for Joe Buck, but it only added to it. We had some comments here. Slew saying, just once I'd like to hear Walt open the show with Tom. Let's get this pup rolling. from my book. Let's wrap up this pup. My boss, what the job I had before I started doing the site full time. This is in the book. I worked for Mid-Atlantic Mortgage in 2007. And I had two bosses. One was such a dick, and like he sat next to me and he would correct me nonstop. Like he would tell me like word for word, like step by step what to do when I'm on the phone, like with clients. Like I would do it. I'd write it down and I'd do it like step by step. I'd be like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'd be like, dude, I didn't say it because he's my boss. I'm thinking like, dude, you told me to do this. Like I have it written down too as evidence. And like he was the worst. And I sat next to him. It was horrible. And like there's an older guy. His name is Goldie. He sat in the back and he always kept his door closed. And there'd always be this like banging. I was like, what is? I was thinking like, what is going on back there? And like one time I went back and like the banging was him like smashing his keyboard. He's like, I can't get this working. And like there was like 100 like Internet Explorer windows open because he would just click the mouse like not like 100 times like when he's trying to open like Internet Explorer. So but yeah, but Goldie would always say stuff like, let's wrap up this pup, let's get this ball rolling, let's get this pup rolling. Like he would always have these like what he thought were motivational things, and we're like, okay, like my friend Josh and I were like, okay, whatever. This like,
you're like when you're ready to leave someplace, the people that are like ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, but it was worse things. Like ready to rock and roll is like a known thing. He would say stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Let's get this pup rolling. Let's wrap up this pup.
Wrap up this pup.
This is the worst. That company went under 6 months after they let me go. So,
wow, they fell apart without you. That you should put that on your resume.
Yeah, I guess. To be fair, I never sold a mortgage, but like this is 2007.
They don't need to know that. They don't need to know that.
This is 2007 when this is like after the collapse, and like they were not giving mortgages to anyone. And they would have misleading commercials too. I'd always get calls. People are like, "Oh, I heard you guys have 1.25% mortgage." I'm thinking like, are you just dumb? Like no one ever will give you a 1.25% mortgage. And I'm like, well, it's only for a year and it's an adjustable rate. And they're like, oh, what's the adjustable? I'm like, well, whatever the mortgage is at the time. And they're like, oh, I want 1.25% for 30 years. I'm like, yeah, everyone does. Like join the club. Not that I'd say that on the phone, but that's like the fact, like we had misleading ads and we'd always have people calling in, and then I have to tell them like, no, this is what you actually get. And like, then they weren't interested anymore. And, and like the people who were interested, they'd have like the worst credit scores. Like I remember, it's a nice sounding guy. Like he's a fireman and his wife was a teacher. And like I talked to both of them on the phone. They seemed like super nice people, and they had me run their credit scores, and it was in like the 500s. I'm like, oh man. And so like I sent it to my boss, and they're like, no, we can't give these guys anything because their credit's so bad. And I had to tell them, and like that, like I'm the one who had to tell them the bad news. Like, yo, you can't get a mortgage. You nice people can't get a mortgage because your credit is so bad. And so it was just like such a bummer of a job. Like like when they let me go, I was so happy. Like I just didn't want to do it anymore.
I had a friend that worked at JG Wentworth for a while. Yeah. And the song everyone
Wentworth, yeah.
877 cash now.
Yep.
And he said that every now and then you'd get someone calling in, they'd be like, what's this about free money? like people thought they were giving away free. Oh, I saw the commercial. I thought like, oh, okay, never mind. Like people thought they were giving away free money. They called him and like he had to be like, no, that's not what this is. Mm-hmm. You have to have like a settlement or like an annuity. Like we give you a lump sum of less than what it's worth. But people are just calling like, I don't know. Like what kind of world do you live in? Like you think they're going to run commercials just like, hey, call us, we're going to give you money. Like why would that be a thing?
Well, I'd say it's unbelievable, but like we've seen people do many stupid things in recent years, so I can't say I'm surprised anymore by anything. The boss saying I got a good bet based on your info. Marvin Harrison Jr. Plus 200 over 4.5. Please tell me where that is so I can bet it as well. Because the Cardinals like Malik Neighbors more than Marvin Harrison Jr. And so it seems very unlikely that Harrison Jr. is going to be 1 through 4. I mean, top 3 picks are going to be all quarterbacks, and then number 4 is going to be either quarterback or Malik Neighbors. So the boss, please tell us where you got that. So next time I drive to Trenton to make Brainmaker lineups, I can bet it.
So you go see a Thunder game.
Yes, at 1 a.m. At 1 a.m. exactly. Love T says, "Is this book Walter's Hope They Serve Beer, a cold beer in hell book?" Did you ever read that book, Tom?
I have not. No.
Okay. Is that by Tucker Max? I can't remember who exactly. I remember reading. I actually read that book. I can't remember who it's by. I think it's Tucker Max or maybe someone else. But yeah, it's sort of like that. The chapters are shorter. And so I concentrate, this is more about the weirdos in college rather than my own stories, but I do have some of my own stories as well. So it's a little bit different, but somewhat similar. Stone Papa Smurf with the very apt, happy 420 big fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I actually forgot it was 420. I just when I was looking up the date for this, I'm like, it's midnight now, so it's 421. But I was like, oh wow, it's 420 when I first saw the date. I just ever since my
midnight. Wow, what timing?
Yeah, ever since my kids were born, I actually haven't drank alcohol since my son was born. There's one time where I met a friend at a bar. I had 2 beers, but that was pretty much it. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to justify it like with 2 kids.
Right. No, I got you.
Sue says the Steelers got all those weird calls as compensation from their game against the Colts, where they had some bad calls go against them. Human nature. Well, I mean, they won that game anyway, so they didn't need the calls.
Or Vanderjagt, the Colts kicker, the
liquored up kicker.
Point at the sideline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the liquored up kicker, as Peyton Manning called him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Peyton Manning hated him.
Yep, that was great. Love T says rigging games is racketeering and subject to Fed a prosecution regulation, which is what the government wants. Yep, right. That's exactly what the government wants. And based on what we saw today, we can hate the government more than ever. Actually, I'm kind of inspired to make some new T-shirts to add to the merch store. So just based on the news we had today with what was it? How many billion are we sending? Like 61 billion or something that they passed today. So. I want to make a shirt that says like money laundering and like money in blue and laundering in yellow, except like the red. The R in laundering is backward. It's the Cyrillic ya. So I want to do that. And I want to have some other shirts, but that's one I've wanted for a while. Like now I'm like more motivated to do it than ever. So anyway, let's see here.
What
Love says, was the 83 Niners were 15-1 or a BS call away from losing to the Steelers? Yeah, I mean there are some great 80s Niners teams.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. When Joe Buck went off on Artie Lang for smoking a cigarette on a show.
I remember that.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't actually like hear it, but I know of it.
Yeah, they try to give Joe Buck a show. You know, I think Joe Buck can be condescending. You know who's even worse is Bob Costas.
Oh, the worst. He's the worst.
He's so. Remember in the '98 finals, the sixth Bulls championship, when Dennis Rodman went to that WrestleMania or WWE thing and skipped practice, and then like he came back and everyone's like, oh, like he's not committed to the team, and like came back and had an awesome game, and like he's like made like a nice rebound and like a putback basket, and Bob Costas is like, off the court, his tired freak show continues, but on the court, he's a force to. It's like, dude, shut the hell up.
Yeah, really.
It's like he probably got paid a lot of money to go wrestle. Like his tired freak show continues. Shut up, man. I can't stand Bob Costas. Sorry, Bobby.
Sorry, Bobby. Don't apologize to him. He's a douche. Let's see.
Degeneron, thank you.
Yeah. What's good, gents? Homage to the '91 World Series was solid. Yeah.
The Twins beat the Braves 4-3.
Yeah, $2. Degeneron, thank you so much. Gotta run.
Man.
Have a good night, boys. Yeah, thank you so much, Degeneron.
Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
Yeah, always for your support. Thank you so much. Just really appreciate it. Lefty says, was I the only fan of Dennis Miller on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, that experiment didn't last long. How many seasons did he do that?
Was it 2 or 3 as multiples, right?
Yeah. Actually, I guess he made it longer than others. Made it longer than Emmett.
Yeah, Emmett didn't even televise games. He was just.
Oh, right.
Remember Tony Kornheiser took Dennis Miller's spot. Do you remember Kornheiser? I actually liked him on Monday Night Football. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad. I like Mike Tirico too. Actually, I have a friend that works for NBC Sports who says like Mike Tirico is a really good dude too. I like Mike Tirico, and another NBC announcer that I love for the NHL. He's one of my favorite announcers of any sport is Mike Emmerich. He's most recently known he's been doing it for a while. The NHL on NBC. He's just got hockey is such a hard sport to call because the lines are constantly changing, and he just has the perfect voice for it. So I love a good. I like Al Michaels too. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, Al Michaels. I liked past tense Al Michaels. The Al Michaels we saw on Amazon, I feel like is mailing it in a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that too because no shade thrown at him. He's one of my all-time favorites, but I think I might have even texted it to you and Jacob a couple times, and I just said this is a bit of an uninspired effort by him.
Yeah.
And that's what, he's been doing it forever. Like at some point, maybe he's just like, he's just like kind of like on autopilot. That's fine. Like I'm not giving him a hard time for it, but he's one of my favorites. And I really liked Marv Albert back in the day on NBA on NBC.
Yeah.
Marv Albert was a great, like, especially those years with the golden era years of NBA in my lifetime, the 90s.
Oh, and you had the music, the NBC music.
Round Ball Ruckus, it's called. Round Ball Ruckus. The guy that wrote that theme song, he was, this is in maybe like the 80s. So, he actually called his own house. He was traveling. He called from a payphone, called his house and sang the song. He was thinking of that melody and left it to himself on his answering machine. And now they brought that back, but it's for like college basketball. Which I don't like. You got to keep it. It's not the same. You got to bring it back. Like that music was iconic to me. Every time I heard that music, it's like the Jordan Bulls, the Magic were great. The Knicks, the Pacers, the Jazz, the Supersonics. I love the Sonics.
Yeah, ESPN or TNT should buy the rights to that song and just have it as their music.
Yeah, that is. I used to, as a kid, when I heard that music, I used to get so excited. It was so much fun.
It was great.
Up in that era, yeah.
It was incredible, yeah. Love T says Q looks and sounds more like a more intelligent Kyle Kalinske.
I don't even know who that is.
He's a political commentator. But
Okay.
you can Google him. But yeah,
You
I could see the similarities.
you want to hear something? I don't know that I've told you this. I'm surprised that I haven't. So this is never what I'm about to tell you. No one has ever told me this ever in my life. I'm almost 38, and in the last year, I've had, I'm not kidding, at least 40 people from streams or like in public tell me that I sound like Seth Rogen and like my laugh sounds like him. But I never got that ever before. And then all of a sudden, within maybe 3 months' time, I'm not exaggerating, Walter. Like it was like 30 to 40 people, keeping it real.
I don't know, man. I don't see it.
I don't know, but a lot of people would just like come in my stream and be like, "You sound like Seth Rogen."
Huh.
I just think it's strange that I never got that before. I don't hear it, and then all of a sudden, that's a large like outlier for that. I mean, do your vocal cords change as you age or something? I don't know. Are they getting more constricted, or I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I kind of hear it sometimes, but I just think it's strange that all of a sudden I got a lot of that question, like, oh, like anyone ever told you that? I never got that before, so I don't know.
Yeah, I would have never have thought of that, but no, I don't see it. I don't see it. That's Seth Rogen. I'm not a big fan of Seth Rogen. I talked about douches before. He seems like the big douche. Just based on stuff that he said. I think recently he was like, man, it's so great not to have kids. I can sleep in on Saturday. like congrats, you can sleep in.
Hey,
Nice.
I don't appreciate these comments, Walt. That's my voice you're talking about.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I got my friends used to say I look like Jerry Seinfeld. I don't know. I never like thought it, if I do or don't. And then like one of my friends like messing with me, he's like, "You look like Tyrone Hill." Like what? How'd you get to that? like you're obviously like lying. Like I look nothing like Tyrone Hill.
Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, I don't know that I really see that.
Yeah, I kind of questioned it, but like a couple of them were like, "Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld." I'm like, I don't know.
I mean,
good.
well, no, I mean, I guess it maybe like, okay, you want to hear something? Because I don't really see that. One time I matched with this girl on a dating app.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. You know, Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
I'm a big Mr. Bean fan. You know, if you're like, like the old, like dumb laughs and stuff.
Yeah.
She told me that I look like Mr. Bean.
Oh, that's
I was like, I don't look anything like Mr. Bean.
No, nothing.
Like,
no,
not at all. Like, I was just like, what?
She said you're funny like Mr. Bean. It's a compliment. But if you look like Mr. Bean,
yeah, she was like, I mean, I can't think of anyone that is my same race that like looks less like me maybe. And she's like, yeah, like I think there was, I don't know, maybe she was confused or something, or there's a language barrier. I don't know. That was a once and only for me. But have you ever seen the Bean movie?
I saw it in the movie theater. Yeah.
Okay, like I'm not saying it's a cinematic masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. It's one of my favorite movies, though. My cousin and I will still to this day text each other when he has to give the speech in the about the painting and he forgot about it. So he has to go up there. First he says the painting. It's quite big, just very good. And secondly, and I'm getting quite near the end now of this analysis. I will text that my cousin. I will text that to each other. Getting quite near the end now of this analysis. All he said was the painting was big. He's about to wrap up the speech. It's good for dumb laughs and just one of those like nostalgic movies.
Yeah,
for me, that's like Good Burgers like that for me. The original.
Yeah, for me it's like Clue. Clue is like the ultimate like funny movie, but like it's also really good because it's a murder mystery and like the actual reveal is so awesome. Like who killed Mr. Body? That's the question. And
I still have to, it is on my list. I will watch it. I got to get through Game of Thrones first.
Yeah, but, well, you're almost done season 2, so we're a third of the way there about. So we're obviously not including the final 2 seasons. Otherwise, you'd be a quarter of the way through. But John saying Buck and Aikman got caught hot micing about the taxpayer money being sent on the pregame military flyover. Okay, so that wouldn't happen on the Biden-Harris ticket. Okay. That's what it was. Now I remember it. Well,
I'm not
yeah,
saying anything.
taxpayer money's been like used on a lot worse, and not that even matters, because the Federal Reserve keeps printing billions, but that's it's neither here nor there.
You know what I was recently thinking of? It made me the flyover made me remember the Bills Giants Super Bowl. The one where I'm a big not trying to call out Scott Norwood, but when the Super Bowl where he missed the kick.
Yeah.
And Whitney Houston sang, remember, because that was what was a Desert Storm was happening. They had like the choppers like flying above the stadium.
Yeah.
And Whitney Houston. So I was in band, I was in chorus in school. I went to school for music. When we met, I was a music major. I probably sang, rehearsed, played, heard the national anthem at least 2,000 times in my life. And that the rendition that Whitney Houston did, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. I've never heard anything like it before or since. And she's one of the greatest vocalists of our time. But if you might recognize it if you just YouTube search Whitney Houston Super Bowl national anthem. Sometimes I will just listen to it. It's one of the greatest things I've ever heard. But I don't know, just quick anecdote there. But
I've never heard it, so I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's really something.
Yeah.
So,
Matthias says Rams first and goal. Okay, this is where the Rams go deep. From Dennis Miller has he's always funny.
I got a good story real quick. I played 1 year of football. in 9th grade. I was played offensive and defensive line, and I was the long snapper. I was a good long snapper too. But okay, we had cheerleaders, and their coach had no. She didn't know anything about football, and I'm about to prove it to you. The other team, we were terrible. When I say we're terrible, like we scored 2 touchdowns the entire season. We won 1 game. It was horrible. So like we were taking beat downs on the regular. They would be on our 1 yard line. The other team would be on our 1 yard line, and the cheerleaders are going, "Who wants a touchdown? We want." They had like no concept of what was going on.
That's funny.
And then, like one of our assistant coaches one day just turned around after like this happened like 5 times. This wasn't like a one-off, like, oh crap, like I got confused. Happened every game. So one of our assistant coaches finally just one day walked over there and goes, "How about defense?" They were so pissed.
So wait, what happened to your football career then if you were a good long snapper?
I gave it up for music and acting, Walt. So
okay.
I could still get back into the long snapping game. I was the only, many tried on the team. I mean, you're in 9th grade too. It's not like it's an unnatural thing, but I don't know, like the movement of it. I could still it just kind of came naturally to me. So I should go back and be the long snapper.
Even back to high school and be the long snapper?
No. I mean, I should enroll. Like I should go get like a master's and like see if I can long snap at like a local college maybe.
That'd be why not? That'd be like an Adam Sandler movie where he goes back to high school and like
maybe I'll get
a long snapper again.
maybe I'll get my big break. The thing about the long snapper, the holder, and the kicker. I mean, what would be worse? Like you lose the super like the long snapper and the holder. They only get recognized when they mess up. That's a tough. That's maybe more psychologically. You could argue than the kick itself. Could you imagine? It's like, okay, is this kick going to go in? It's like we don't even get to see a kick because the holder fumbled it. Oh,
yeah. That's what happened. The Giants 49ers playoff game in 2002. The Giants had a 17-point lead, and the Niners erased it, but the Giants still had a chance to kick the game-winning field goal. And I can't remember. I think it was a bad hold that screwed it up, and they never got the kickoff, and that was the final play of the game. So yeah, it's happened. I mean, like, and that was a playoff game that cost them the season. So yeah, it's happened before. And then everyone knew his name. Like it was on PTI the next day,
Mm-hmm.
So
that's I would never want to be the holder, or like imagine like you're the long snapper and you give a bad snap and the game ends on that. Everyone would know you then.
Yeah,
it sucks that it's so. They should keep. Maybe they do, but they don't talk about it. Like they should have a stats like, oh, like okay, he's 12 for 12 on holds. Like, good.
But everyone's like 100% on holds though.
That's just not true, Walter. They fumble it sometimes.
Everyone's like 98% then. No one. If someone is bad, they just get replaced. Like everyone's gonna be in the 95+% like range.
Man, I'm really thinking about like what it's like to be the holder. Not only that, like you're also like on one knee, and in a very short amount of time, like you have to like catch the ball and like get it with the laces out and everything, and also like these 300-pound like 6'5" dudes are running after you as fast as they freaking can. That's got to be a little nerve wracking.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I'm sure they're used to it and stuff, and they get paid a great wage compared to what other people are paid, so
it's definitely something in the sport that we take for granted. I do.
Yeah.
Oh
like, yeah.
Remember when Romo fumbled it? That play never. I mean, he got some flack then, but that's not something that ever really followed him. I mean, it wasn't like on like the same magnitude as like Scott Norwood or anything, but that never really followed him. I was always kind of surprised
because he's not a holder; he's a quarterback. And the justification was like, oh, he shouldn't be holding; he should be like playing quarterback, like he should be.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's true. But I'm surprised. I thought that was going to go on for a while. That never really got brought up.
Yeah.
Ever again is like one of the that was a gaffe.
Yeah, I think people forget that, but it was his first foray into the playoffs, and it was the first round of the playoffs, so.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be the one to be like, oh, like what an idiot. Like I actually I'm very much anti that. Like the Steve, who Steve Bartman is, that Cubs fan that interfered with the. I've watched that documentary so many times. Like it's wrong, man. Like I understand like the emotion that you're going to be upset, but it's like at the end of the day, like the Cubs were the ones that blew it. Like Alex Gonzalez had. I mean, it was a lead pipe cinch double play, man. And clonked in his glove, and I really feel bad for the man. It's not right. I'm all for good competition. That's like like when we went to Penn State, a lot of like people I knew at Penn State, they were like, we hate Michigan. It's like we hate Ohio. It's like why? Like just because like we're rivals? I don't know. Like I'm all for a good rivalry, but I don't know. Sometimes it goes a little too far. I feel bad for Bart, but when they won in 2016, they did give him a ring. I heard.
So, okay. Yeah, cool. I didn't hear that. That's cool. I know. Didn't you have to like go into witness protection or something?
He really went into hiding. Like he never.
Yeah.
One person in the documentary, they said one person tracked him down, but I guess someone did after. But they were going to put him in Super Bowl commercials and give him all these endorsements. He turned it all down. He didn't. He felt really bad about it. And he looked like a shy person, just judging from the one clip I have of him. And like could you imagine that? It's like you're the team you've loved your entire life. You're a diehard fan. Grew up watching games with your dad, and it's like now like you're public enemy number one for that entire fan base. That has to be pretty jarring. Like
I don't know if I'm in that situation. I'm like, man, my fan base is so stupid. Like that the fact that they care so much about this, like about me. Whereas like what it was, it's not that like he ran onto the field and disrupted a play that cost them the game. Like the Cubs ended up losing on their own accord, anyway after that. So it's like he was like definition of a scapegoat, so.
Oh yeah. Well, but I don't think you'd be able to, I would probably think that too. Like, wow, I can't believe all the fans just like turned on me like that. But I don't think if it's a team you've watched for ages, it's like you can't detach yourself from it. It's like, so like, I guarantee like that was like something that weighed, and in addition to everything else that really, really weighed on him.
I personally, if I were him, I don't know, I have different mentality, but if I were him, like I wouldn't be a fan of the Cubs anymore, just because like man, like I don't want to be rooting for the same team as these idiots.
Right.
But
yeah, I wouldn't doubt that he had stages of. I mean, I guess he accepted the Super Bowl ring, the World Series ring, because I did hear that they gave him one, so he had to have met up with them unless they just mailed it to him. But I imagine that he met up with them, and now it's like kind of all forgiven. I'm sure he went through stages of like hating them and then like missing it. I don't know. It would that would be that's a whole lot happening at once. I feel bad for the man. So
I do too. But it's I feel like in the moment it had to be bad for him. But no, like a couple years later, like even a couple months later, like do people care as much anymore? Like now most people don't even know the name. So time heals all wounds, I suppose that's what they say.
Right.
Jason's saying, I don't know parlays are allowed for the draft. So dumb. I bet Olu Fashanu to be the second offensive lineman taken. Daniels to go second, May to go third. Yeah, I don't know if they allow parlays. Maybe some sports books do. I imagine it's contingent on what sports book you have an account on. But I think like as far as parlays are concerned, it's not bad. But like Olu Fashanu could easily be like the fourth lineman taken. He's definitely not gonna be the first. That's gonna be Joe Walt. But second, third, fourth, fifth. Like I think that I think he's certainly in that range, but Daniel's second, May 3rd seems a lot safer to me. The boss saying Circa is where you can find Marvin Harrison Jr. to go over 4.5. Unfortunately, I don't think I have Circa available to me in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure, but obviously in Vegas you can. I don't know if like does Circa have like non-Vegas sportsbook? Because I know like BetMGM obviously does. I don't know if Circa's the same. If they do, then I'm definitely interested in that. Let's see. He says, "Q, don't bring me back to the Monday Night Wars."
Whoa, Dennis Miller on Monday Night Football.
I guess. As Sam Papa Score says, the game's definitely not rigged. It's just a coincidence. The Patriots won the Super Bowl after 9/11 and went to have on a dynasty. Go Patriot Act. Patriot Act. Saints win after Katrina. Vince McMahon in control. Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Like there are a lot of coincidences for sure. But I don't know. I mean, I mean, the Patriots had a great defense, and like they won. It's not like they only won one Super Bowl, and it happened to be that year. Like they won how many more? 5 after that. So like I don't know. And I mean the Saints got Drew Brees that year. It's not like they had a crappy team and won after Katrina. So I don't know.
Yeah, and they didn't win. Katrina was in 2004. And
was it 2004? I thought it was 2005.
Or no, it was 2005. It happened on my birthday. 2005.
Oh,
August 29th. And
yeah,
right. A lot of hurricanes happened on my birthday, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they won. That was the 2009-2010 season that they won. That they beat the Colts.
Yeah, because they happened in 2005. I remember it's my final year in college, and then the first year they were good was when Drew Brees got there. That was the Steve Gleason year where he blocked that punt. But yeah, they won the Super Bowl 4 years after. They won the Super Bowl 4 years after that. So let's see. It was WCW Rodman and Hogan versus Malone.
Oh, okay. I remember when he wrestled Malone too.
Yeah. John says, agree with you, and Emmerich still killing it at 77.
Yeah, what a voice.
Love T says, Q, missed the NFL primetime music. I love the NFL primetime music. I still have some of these. I've showed you guys some of these YouTube tabs I've opened on. I have 100. I think I have 120 tabs open on Chrome, and some of them are old NFL primetime episodes where I can just listen to the music because like that would amp me up. And I used to swim competitively, and I used to listen to the NFL primetime music before a big race.
Oh, that's cool.
Because man, it was like some of those songs like. They really pump you up. Like I'd have so much energy after listening to it.
I used to love. There's two that I feel the same way about. I love the old MLB on Fox. Da 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 da. Remember that one? I love the MLB. I don't watch baseball. I'm over here like caroling to you. You're like, when are you gonna stop? I'm anti-carolers, actually, and I don't mean to sound like a Scrooge, just completely changing topics real quick. But like, I guess maybe 50 years ago it was different or something. But if someone came up to my residence door and knocked, and I opened the door and they started singing Christmas songs, I think I'd like, why were you? I don't think people really do that anymore. Why are you putting me in that imposition? What am I supposed to do? Like stare at you like awkwardly for 3 minutes while you sing Jingle Bells? I think it's rude. I think it's putting someone in an imposition. I would probably be like, thank you, and just like close the door. I guess I'm just getting grouchy in my old age.
Well, I'm even older, so no, I've never had carolers come to my door.
Yeah, I don't think people really do that anymore.
Yeah,
No one.
it seems like a movie cliche that never happens in real life.
Yeah, anytime my doorbell rings nowadays, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, who knows I'm in here?
You know what? Sometimes my doorbell would ring and like I'm working and like my wife will get it and it's like, and I'll ask later like who was it and she's like, oh, it's some state representative talking who came to talk to me. I didn't want to talk to them. I'm like, damn it! I always want to talk to these people. I want to grill them and like ask them where my tax money is going. And like I never got the opportunity, and my wife like never wants to talk to them. So like it's such BS that I never get the door when these people come to the door.
I don't want to answer. Every now and then in my neighborhood, we have like I don't know. They're always selling solar something. Solar panels, solar windows. I don't know anyone. I guess some people buy them, obviously. I don't know. I do feel bad for them in a way that it's like door-to-door sales, like cold calling, like or cold walk-ups to someone's house.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age, no one wants anyone come in their house, and it's just.
Yeah, I know someone who's like a genius at like the door-to-door. I never would have expected it from him. Not that I thought he'd be bad at it, but like I was told like, oh, this guy, I don't name him, but I was like, this guy is like sells everything. I'm like, really? Like it's like, yeah, like because I know I'm friends with this boss, and he's like, yeah, he's my top client or my top employee. He can sell everything. He can sell like ice to an Eskimo. You know, I was like this is crazy. Like I never would have expected that from him. So I don't know. I guess it takes a certain personality.
Yeah, you know what sales situations I really can't stand is when I don't know, wherever you might be, and you get like, I don't know, like a 20 something year old pop collared like dick bag such sort of dude, like hitting you with the bro act. What's up, man? What's up, bro? I hate when they call you boss. Hey boss, what's up? It's like, I don't know why that really, you've known me for a long time, Walt. I don't really get like irritated. That I hate that. But like, I don't know. There's like, I hate the phony elements. Like, let's just get right down to it. I don't want to be like, oh, like, you like to go on. Like, what do you don't? I don't want to tell you anything about me. Just sell me the sneakers or whatever. Like, like, yeah. I don't know. There's just like this element of phony, and there's obviously good salespeople too, but I hate that particular brand of. I'm sorry. I strongly dislike that particular brand. I don't know. I don't enjoy when people are like, "Hey, what's up, boss?" I don't know. Maybe I am getting first the carolers in this. I guess I better tone it down a
notch. No. They always like ask you questions and like try to relate to you, and I know their tricks. So just having enough experience with them. Plus when I worked at the mortgage company, we had a cold call as well. That's like when we didn't have any calls come in, we were given lists of like people to call. And like it was like I could never get anyone on the phone. Like first of all, the no one would ever pick up. And like if someone did, all I'd have to be like, "Hi, I'm from Mid Atlantic Mortgage," and there's like click, like that's it. Like,
I sold life insurance for a little bit. Actually, you want to hear something? Because I was apprehensive about it, but actually I had like really good cold calling numbers, like conversions to meetings. I don't know how I didn't like doing it, but I guess I was all right at it. But I just I don't know. I feel like people like I feel like phony or something. And I know, it's probably in my head, but what I had to you're talking about how you had to tell people, like your loan is denied, like you can't get a loan. Mm-hmm. When I worked in car insurance I worked at Progressive. And boy, that was a character building job. So like I was a desk adjuster. I did everything but go to the shop. So like I would contact everybody involved and take their recorded statements. And I would be the one that determines, I look at the facts and like I determine liability and I have to call them and be like, hello, guess what? You're at fault. And like these people are already like high emotion, like emotions are running high, like they're in an accident. Sometimes they're hurt, their car's all screwed up and like they don't have like a way to, oh man, I took many a tongue lashing in my day. But like it really made me like a lot thicker skinned as a result. It's like sometimes people like call you, they expect you to like, oh, like I'm just gonna call up and immediately you come fix my car, and like they're just screaming at me like, come out here, right? It's just like, sorry, that's not how that works. Mm-hmm. It's so I could relate on a different level, like having to make that sort of tough call, like to bring bad news. I remember one time, a couple times, there was this guy, I was taking his recorded statement, and I knew I could tell like he was at fault, and he's like, oh, like this idiot just came out of nowhere and he hit me, like, I don't know what the hell this guy was doing. He kept going on and on, like during the recorded statement. I was just thinking the whole time, boy, am I going to have a surprise for you at the end of the call.
Nice.
He was pissed. Like, what do you mean? It's like, dude, it's the traffic laws.
Right.
But I had one sweet old lady one time. She was like, I'll call you with the liability decision tomorrow. So I called her and she goes, oh, Tom, you have good news for me. And I was like, actually, I don't. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Like, it's like, unfortunately, I don't. You're going to be at fault.
Yeah. Well,
so.
Well, never claim responsibility for something. Always blame others. I've found that's the best way to go about life. Hello T says, no BS. Q sounds like Kyle Kalinske. I have to listen to him and see. Okay. John says a little bit like Seth Rogen, except you're not a douchebag.
Well, I appreciate that, John. Thank you.
Yeah, and John saying you look like Denzel Washington. Not sure which one. But one of us will take that as a compliment.
Hey, have you seen this? I've seen it before, but I just watched it again the other day with Denzel Washington. It's called Flight. It's a really good movie.
I don't think I saw it.
Okay.
No.
Well, end the story.
Not a big movie. What?
We can move on. That was it.
Okay. I'm not a big movie guy. You should just like stick to TV shows. Love Mr. Bean. No, you don't look like him. So there you go. The Frank Caliendo impersonation on YouTube of Barkley, Shaq, and Marv Albert doing play-by-play. The Sevilla Nuns playing basketball is his choice. Okay, we'll have to check that out. I'm not familiar with that.
I've said Walter doesn't like impersonators though.
I'm not a huge fan of impersonators, but like I don't think I hate it though.
Oh, I didn't say I said you don't like him. I remember years. I'm talking like 2009. I sent you a link for like a Frank Caliendo. I was like, oh, he was doing Jim Rome. Remember Jim Rome?
Yeah.
It was pretty good. And you were like, I remember you texted me like, I don't really like impersonators. So I was like, oh, noted.
Yeah, I'm not like I wouldn't say hate them.
I'm just like goofing with you. But
yeah, I don't know. It's never like people love it. I just don't find it that impressive. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he runs a tight ship here. Your impressions need to be right.
Exactly, I know.
Yeah.
Clue good, Murder by Death also good. Okay, I've not seen or heard of Murder by Death. So check that out as well. Yeah, Clue is one of the best, one of my favorite movies of all time. Sutter says that was such a dumb take because Jets have been flying over stadiums my entire life. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they've always been doing that. So I didn't quite get what they were talking about. Q, that's the first Super Bowl I actually watched. Sat, what do you want? She was incredible.
Oh, you're talking about? I think you were referring to the Whitney Houston national anthem that I was talking about. Yeah. Oh, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. She's, incredible voice, and it's moving.
Okay. So. And he says you should have stuck with long snapping. These dudes are playing into their 40s. Yeah, I feel like you could make a comeback. They could even make a movie about you.
I don't know who's gonna come see that, but I'm in. Yeah, I could be like the oldest player ever to win the Super Bowl or something. And it could be like, you never give up in your life. Here's Quacky, who at age 45 against all odds joined the NFL and snapped the winning field goal for the Green Bay Packers, and they won the Super Bowl. And I'll be like a heartwarming story in a football lore for all time. I'll do it. Love to eat. I'm in.
The Long Quacker, starring Seth Rogen.
There you go.
I can imagine the commercials. In a world where long snappers play into their 40s, one man coming from a 25 years absence of long snapping.
He hasn't had any exercise in years. Actually, that's not true. I've been walking 4 miles a day for like 5 or 6 days a week. So
oh, nice.
So it's not 100% true, but most of the time it is.
Oh, I remember exercise. It was good times when I used to be able to exercise. I used to go swimming all the time. I used to swim at least a mile a day, and yeah, I haven't been to the gym in about a month and a half, I think. So it's been quite a while. Um,
Yeah,
so
I just do the walking thing because it's I don't know. I hate going to the gym. You know, we've talked about this when you scan your card and the person working the enjoy your workout. It's like, ma'am, I don't enjoy any part of this. What do you mean enjoy your workout? I'm not going to enjoy. I guess some people do. I
I
guess
do. I love it. I love it
yeah.
personally.
I mean,
I don't know. Like when I swim, it like gives me time to think and stuff like that. I always felt like I do my best thinking in the water, like whether it's swimming or like in the hot tub or something or in the shower.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah. Trey Junkin. That was I think that was the Giant player who screwed up. Now I remember that name. Yeah. That's why they only have punters hold now instead of backup quarterbacks. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. That's definitely true. And I still want my son to become a punter. And,
Yeah, don't give the quarterback any additional duties.
mm-hmm.
Your starting quarterback any additional duties. They got enough going on.
Agreed. Pollyanna says, how likely do you think 3 of the 4 of the following get drafted in the first round? Knicks, Powers, Jackson, and Morgan.
Redacted.
Yes. I think I think at least one of the first 2 will be drafted, if not both. I think Powers Jackson will be drafted in the first round, and I think Jordan Morgan will be. I think he'll be drafted first round too. I say 3 out of the 4 will be drafted for sure, and maybe 4 out of 4. But I think that it's pretty likely 3 out of 4 will be drafted.
Who do you think's going to pick Bo Callahan this year? Hey, I saw on Facebook we need to have a talk with Kenny because did you happen to see he made a list of like best football movies and Draft Day was I think his 3rd or 4th.
Okay.
Sir, that's not allowed. We might need to have an intervention with him.
Because it should be first, or
no,
because it should be lower.
It's one of the. I mean, I love it because it sucks, but it's so dumb. What did they in the movie that for those of you who haven't seen it, you should see it. I'd love to like watch it and just have a laugh. Kevin Costner plays the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, and he's like wheeling and dealing on draft day. Mm-hmm. But what does he trade to the Jaguars? It makes absolutely no sense. They give up like their first round pick for like a second round pick or something, or like 2 second. It made absolutely no sense with like the There's no way an NFL team would.
Yeah, and he bullies the Jaguars into making the trade because like it's a new GM, it's a young guy, and he's
that's right.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, a lot. I mean, the football stuff of it made no sense. But like, I didn't think the movie's that bad. I thought it was kind of interesting, although I thought it was really interesting because I said this before. Like, I was the one time I watched it, I was doing work, and I thought for seriously, I really thought that Jennifer Gardner was Kevin Costner's daughter. And like when they have a romantic like scene in the closet, I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? And I'm like, oh, wait, she's not his daughter after all.
So. You know what I think is so weird about the movie? Like they tried to shoehorn in like the emotional with his father, who was and then like his mom came in for a couple scenes, and at the very end, after they got all their picks and like won the day, if you will. Like they go up to the mom. It's like right before the movie ends, and Jennifer Garner's like, "You're gonna be a grandma." It's like no one cares about that part of the plot line. Just end the movie. Yep. It's just like they tried to shoehorn that part in. It failed miserably. I thought, but we're gonna have to talk to Kenny about maybe making some edits to that list.
I'll have to see the list. I didn't see it. I don't even know what would be first. I don't even know like what's a good football movie? I can't even think of one. Little Giants, perhaps.
I think people will always say "Remember the Titans." People really like Remember the Titans.
That's
Remember the Titans. This isn't maybe. I like Remember the Titans. I thought it was a good movie, but I do think it's overrated. Something can be both. It's still a good movie, but some people really go crazy for it. I didn't think it was that great, but I did like it.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater. I liked it. People copied that Remember the Titans, like
Mhm.
that song that they always sang when I swam. Like I said, I swam competitively. Like that summer, our club team, like that was our chant. That was our like anthem.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I
yeah,
remember a lot of
yeah. A lot of people like copied it. So at least you had that. Oh yeah, I see it Rudy too. Of course that has to be up there. But
the Water Boy.
what? Oh
There,
yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't
That's probably
remember
my
who.
favorite.
Yeah, me too. I saw this meme. And it was I can't remember who it was. It was an offensive lineman for the Arizona Cardinals, and he said that, like, he had a tweet. He said, I saw the Water Boy when I was 13 or something. And I decided, because I saw it, I was like, okay, I guess I'll try football. Like, I'll try out for
Wow,
football. And then he made it to the NFL because he watched the Water Boy. I thought that was kind of cool. But
that's incredible that happened.
yeah,
Uh,
the thing about the Water Boy too, because it is a football movie, but you don't really realize it's a football movie, and it's not.
right.
Like, it's done in like the sports parts, like the sports sequences are done in like a comical way too. It's not clunky at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's so, like, Kathy Bates was perfect as Mama, and Fairuza Balk. No one could have done Vicky Valancourt better
Yep.
than her. I mean,
Yep.
she had the perfect look, the perfect, like, portrayal of it. No one else could have been Vicky Valancourt. I would say, like, in all the movies I've ever seen, like, maybe like the most perfectly cast role.
Oh, I think every character in that was perfectly cast. I'm very much looking forward to another Adam Sandler movie, Happy Gilmore 2, which is coming out. I think that they're making it now or something. I
Yeah,
saw.
it's funny because, and this will be a good segue, I suppose, right into our golf lineups. But I was just watching Happy Gilmore right before we signed on the show, too, here. But yeah, because you had just told, I didn't even know that they were making a second one. But I think you just told me like a week ago. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out. That's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies too.
Yeah, no, Tiger Woods is gonna be in it as Carl Weathers' son.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know what role he's
You
gonna
did tell me
play, but
that.
yeah. So yeah, he's gonna be in it. I know Phil Mickelson's gonna be in it too. I don't know as what, but they're bringing back Shooter McGavin. I'm sure like most of the living characters who were in the first movie were gonna be in it. So yeah, looking forward to that. Let's read the rest of these comments and jump into golf. Great 30 for 30. The fact that the Cubs choked that next game. Yep.
A 19-year-old Miguel Cabrera hit I think he hit a 3-run homer in that game.
Yeah.
The great Miggy.
Yeah.
So,
Andrew saying time heals all wounds. Not if you're a hemophiliac. That's
Colin Moulton.
Yeah. That's a good quote. Love he says the best music was the crappy teams playing. I think he's talking about NFL primetime. The best music for NFL primetime was when the Raiders played. You could probably find it on YouTube, like just Google or search NFL primetime Raiders music, and like that'll probably come up. And they usually played the same music when the Raiders were in the highlights. Like like that really got me pumping. Like I'll listen to that the most probably when I swam. He says, Q, to be clear, I was talking about the Monday Night Wrestling Wars.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do you remember? I should know this. Who did remember the Monday Night Football song? Who was the country star that was? He ended up getting it would always be a new song. He's just like, we got the Cowboys and Packers getting down in Big D. Like every was a new song for like whatever teams were playing on the old Monday Night.
Hank Williams, yeah.
Hank Williams, that's right. Didn't he get kicked off, or he got canceled or something? I think.
He got canceled. I think he
Did he complain about a flyover or something?
Yeah. I think he said something Islamophobic. I think that was it, but I'm not. I could be wrong. It might have been something else. But I do remember him getting canceled. It's so stupid. Frank Caliendo and Mel Kiper was classic. He does. Yeah, it's pretty on point. The longest snap featuring
That's a reference to the longest P from Adam Sandler's. Right. I think that was off the "What the Hell Happened to Me" album. Good reference there, love.
Yeah. I was dumbfounded to read that Penn State offered a jogging class. Yes. Yeah, I took jogging.
Class.
I took jogging my final semester at Penn State.
Oh, you took it?
Yeah. Clearly, you haven't finished my book
How
yet.
far did you have to go?
Well, okay, so we had to run a mile as a baseline to start the class, and then so it was one of those 9:45 to 11 classes. So it was an hour and 15. And so what happened was at 9:45 we'd meet at the what's that? The West gym. What is that gym called? I can't remember.
Rec Hall.
Rec Hall. Yeah, we'd meet at Rec Hall. We'd sign in, and they'd be like, we go into groups. We were assigned groups at the start of the class a semester, and we had to stay in the same groups. So we'd jog in a group until 11 o'clock, and then we'd have to, by 11 o'clock, you have to come back and sign out. So that's what we did the first few weeks. Like, that's what we did. Like, we jog, and like I was I was drinking heavily at Penn State, so it's pretty rough for me. So I was always like the worst in the group. And then like we kind of figured out, this is a spoiler for the book, I guess, but we figured out that like, wait a second, no one's actually watching us. Like, we have to sign in, and then we have to jog, and then we have to sign out and like quote unquote jog. Like, why don't we just go somewhere and hang out? So like we would go to this cafe, and we'd sit there until 11, and then we'd go back, and then the next step was like, wait a second, why do we even have to hang out? We could just go. And it's like, so that's what we would do. Like, at 9:45, we'd roll into class, we'd sign in, and then but this is by the end of the semester, I would go back to my dorm room, I'd sleep for an hour, and then I'd come back and sign out. That's like what we did. So the only
you didn't, when you got back, they weren't like, you don't look sweaty enough or something.
I know. The teacher didn't care. The teacher was some like fat guy, just didn't care. So we had the baseline. Like I said, we had the baseline mile run, and then for our midterm we had a mile run, and then for our final we had a mile run. So like the thing was, you'd have to improve each time. So my final mile run, again, this is in the book. My friend, I don't want to say her name, but my friend was visiting. She was a really good friend of mine in Penn State. And she graduated a year before I did. And she came back. She went to Arizona State for grad school. And she came back to, I don't know why she was visiting, but she came back, and like we hung out. We went to the bar the night before, and then like, so we kept hanging out the rest of the night. And like, in the morning, like I drank so much of the night. Like in the morning, I told her, I'm like, oh man, I have to. She's like, do you want to go get breakfast? I was like, oh man, I have this jogging final. she's like, I'm like, what? She's like, what do you have to do for that? I'm like, I have to run a mile. She's like, you're not gonna run a mile. I'm like, I know. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And so, shockingly, I beat my time for the midterm. I don't know how I did it. And then like, no joke, as soon as I finished the mile, I was like, threw up all over the place.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so rough. I felt so bad after that mile. I felt so horrible. Yeah, that was rough.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a jogging class legend, Walter.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, this is in the book. So
every time I think of Rec Hall, I know I've told you this story before, but I'm going to tell you again. It was October 2004. It was when we lived next door to each other. Mm-hmm. And it was the homecoming weekend. It was that 6-4 Iowa game. Remember when Penn State lost 6-4?
Of course.
Zach Mills was the quarterback. And there was a pep rally at Rec Hall. And the team came out, and Joe Paterno came out. And I was, unfortunately, in the marching band. I did 1 year. It was I really didn't like it. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I hated it. But I had to be there for this pep rally as part of the marching band. And I could see, like, in the pep rally, like one of the students in attendance, like you could just tell he's like, like he's just like causing a ruckus. He's drunk. And I kept hearing him like, just making some commotion. So the pep rally's like, it gets started. And then all of a sudden Joe Paterno comes to the mic and everyone's freaking out, screaming, cheering, everything he said, he's like throwing off his jacket, everyone's screaming. And all of a sudden he says something and the applause dies down. It gets dead quiet. And that guy who was drunk, he just goes like, the entire Rec Hall could hear it. He goes, "No Heisman, no Heisman."
I remember.
That's all he said.
That. Yeah.
And he did no Heisman. And I remember thinking, what is Joe Paterno going to say? Everyone heard it and everyone looked. Joe Paterno goes, "Oh no, we do have a Heisman. His name is Zach Mills." And people were like, yeah. No one, but it's like it was a pretty good save. For in the moment, but it's like what kind of thing is that to say anyway? No Heisman, no one asked that, dude. I will never forget. But, oh no, we do have a Heisman. Zach Mills was never going to be the Heisman.
No, I mean, people were high on him his first year. I remember drafts on the internet had him in the first round, and then he got worse and worse. It was the opposite of a wine, you know. It's like he just got like. It's like so stale by the end of his collegiate career. I don't know what happened to him. I guess he just wasn't a hard worker. I don't know.
But Zach Milton, they had I guess we can move. We can move. Morelli was after that.
No, Michael Robinson was after that, and then Morelli.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because Michael Robinson was he was the quarterback who took the team to the Orange Bowl.
Florida State.
Yeah, yes, they beat Florida State, and that was the year that they lost them the 1 second. They were undefeated and won 1 second.
Yeah,
against
11 1 second. Lloyd Carr,
Henny to Manningham.
Good knowledge.
Yeah,
I remember watching that.
That was a rough game, man. I remember the campus that night was so dead.
I remember that too.
Everyone was like that. Everyone was so hyped for that team when they were like 5-0 or 6-0. I remember hearing when you're out and you're like, we are, and then you go Penn and people go Penn State. When I was there, I remember people going like, we are, and then people go like 6-0, like it was everyone loved that. And then they lost to Michigan, and that night, like no joke, like no one wanted to go out, like no one was drinking, like it felt just like it felt like Paterno died. Like if Paterno died, I felt like that was the atmosphere at Penn State would feel like.
And I remember earlier that season, Penn State beat. I was at the game.
Ohio
that
State,
was electric. Yeah. Penn State beat Ohio State. They never
in the rain. It was the whiteout.
They never beat Ohio State. Yeah. So when that happened, it was on. We were like, I think they could do it. But at the end, of course, this is 2005, long before the college playoff. I mean, do you really think that Penn State, even if they would have won, would have beat out Vince Young in Texas or USC with Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and
I think they would have beaten USC. That USC team was not that good. They remember they blew leads like crazy. Then they fell to deficits and they had to claw out of like deficits like crazy. Like they go down like 17-0 routinely, and like they'd have to claw back. And I don't think that team was that good. I don't know. I don't know if they would have beaten Texas, but that Penn State defense was amazing.
It really was.
Yeah. So
what I mean is, I don't think they would have made you just picked two teams back then. I don't think they were going to pass over USC or Texas to pick Penn State, if they were undefeated.
But I think we had this conversation before. But I think that you can't leave Penn State out with there being a big controversy, because it's not like, oh, Boise State's left out and they're undefeated, or Central Florida. These schools that are in Division 1A, but they're not in big conferences. Like Penn State has the largest alumni association in the world, in the U.S. There would have been hell to pay if Penn State was undefeated and they weren't in the college championship. And yes, I still think they would have taken USC and Texas because they were ranked ahead of Penn State to start. But there would have been such a commotion that I think that they would have started the college football playoff earlier than they did.
That's a fair point. I just think because those teams were, Vince Young on Texas was, and Reggie Bush was my favorite college football player of all time. Those two teams were that was the matchup that people wanted too. I feel like, so I just don't think Penn State would have gotten in. But yeah, they were really great that year. It was exciting, and that was, it completely took the wind out of the sails.
Yeah. It really did. That was a shame. Love to Eat says Walter. JJ McCarthy is Mac Jones 2.0. Talk me out of that position. I can't. I think that's a good comparison. I'm not. I don't understand McCarthy hype in the first round. Now he's going to go in the first round, but I do think he's Mac Jones prototype, with low upside. Just don't really see it with him. Dennis Leary was the GM. Yeah,
he was the coach. He was the coach.
Oh, he was the coach. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, Kevin Costner was the GM, obviously.
Right.
Necessary Roughness, underrated. I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. And then Slew says the longest yard. Which one? You had the Burt Reynolds one. You had the Adam Sandler one. I think they're making another one too. So I don't. Too many already. I feel like I hate the straight remakes.
I know everything's a franchise now. Just have a standalone movie.
Yeah.
How many times can you tell? They I saw a Super Bowl commercial a trailer for Planet of the Apes. I mean, what's like the 15th one? I mean, how many times are you gonna tell the same damn story?
No.
I don't mean it to be negative, but it's further proof. This is like the third example of why I'm becoming a Scrooge. Let's move on before
I love to swim at the bottom of the pool without breathing. Great way to improve lung capacity and endurance. Yeah, I mean that's something we had to do occasionally when we swam. Like we'd have to do like a lap and a half or 2 laps if some people could underwater without breathing. Yeah, I was always like a swim coach's nightmare because they would always like don't breathe every other stroke, don't do it, and I'd always do it. I just wouldn't listen. I was never a good freestyler, so I would always do that anyway. And ironically, I became a swim coach. So I was a swim coach for 7 years, I think. 6 years. I coached Summerton Swimming, which is a local swim club here, for 3 years. And then I coached the local high school here, George Washington High School, which is the high school where Sharif Floyd went to. I coached that swim team for 3 years. And then the public school, Philadelphia Public School, canceled swimming because they ran out of money. So that was nice.
They saw you coming, they're like, "Oh, get rid of the entire program."
Right.
Did you ever do any diving?
No,
Okay.
diving. No, I was never like coordinated enough to dive. I feel like, I don't know. Obviously we had to dive off the blocks when we swam, but like the jump diving, like we jump off the diving board and do flips in the air. I could never do that. The bush push.
You've said that before that you're not that but I mean you were a solid swimmer. You're definitely more coordinated than you give yourself credit for. You have to be.
Well, maybe I'm coordinated in the water. I don't know. But not in the air. I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but my last name Charapinski actually means turtle man when translated into.
Really?
Yeah, translated into English. This Charapacha is turtle and ski is man. So like actually means like turtle man. So like maybe my ancestors were just like really good swimmers or just really like horrible on land. And that kind of goes with my horrible running. This is like I told you, jogging class was the worst.
Wow, that's really, like, cause I can swim, but I can't swim fast. Like I couldn't swim for speed.
Right.
But like I can, I can do the strokes just slowly. But I have really big calves and legs. I feel like I should be able to propel myself. But I don't like. I mean, I can swim, just not fast. So I don't know.
It's just the breathing's the hard part. Like once you figure that out, like it's all it gets easier after that. So when you were a swim coach, did you tell the team, let's slam dunk this pup,
slam dunk the funk, turn it up.
Let's swim this pup up. Let's do it. John saying Battle of the Blackwater is done pretty well considering the budget, and season 2 paled in comparison to the next 6
It sure did.
Yeah, that was we'll talk about Game of Thrones in a bit, but that was a great episode, and the battles to come are even better. So Love T says the fact that Reggie was stripped of the Heisman was one of the biggest jokes of all time. Yeah, especially considering now, like I know. Yeah, like now, like he like people are getting paid now, and like if Reggie Bush were in college now, he would not be guilty of anything. Not that he was guilty before, but yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I hate the NCAA. Like it's just like it doesn't like, oh wow, like he's a kid that came from nothing, and like someone offered his mom a house. Like, come on,
yeah,
of course he's gonna. And it's like it didn't change anything he did on the field. He was still the best.
Yeah.
It's an absolute joke. And I'm a huge Reggie Bush fan. My favorite, like I was saying earlier, my favorite college football player of all time.
Yeah, it was a complete joke. Okay, so let's jump to. Well, first of all, let's look at the leaderboard. Let's look at the leaderboard first. So we have datagolf.com, which is what I like to use here. So okay, I'm really kicking myself here because Scotty Scheffler after day 1 was only 2 under. And the leader, I believe, after day 1 was 9 under. And so Scheffler, who was plus 450 entering the weekend, he was 11-1 after day 1. And I remember looking at that. I'm like, man, when are we going to get Scheffler at 11-1? Like, that seems incredible to me. Of course, I didn't take it. I feel like such an idiot now. And I think now, I believe he's minus 140. Let's look. Let's look at the actual betting before we get to DraftKings. So, Scheffler, is minus 140. Kyle Morikawa plus 650, Sepulon Straka 650, Ludwig Aubert is 11-1, Sahith Theegala 18-1, Patrick Cantlay 25-1. I don't see like anything there that kind of like stands out to me. If I had to bet anything here, I think it would be I think Scheffler is just playing out of his mind right now. I always thought like there are two reasons why I didn't bet him in this tournament. One was because, well, first of all, his wife is due any day now, and so he said that if his wife goes into labor, he's gonna have to withdraw. Now it is his wife's first child, so generally, like speaking, doesn't come early, but you just never know. And second, this course. Well, like Scheffler can win anywhere because he's the best golfer on the planet. It's not even close now. But this course like doesn't provide him with a built-in advantage that the other course does, like the Masters did. Like he had such a huge advantage at the Masters. Where here, it's not like you don't need to be perfect at everything at this tournament. Whereas like the Masters, you need to be top-notch in every place, and that's why he won by 4 strokes over second place and 7 strokes over third place. So he just dominated. But here it's close. And so I thought anyone could win, but Scheffler is playing out of his mind right now. So like I said, if I had to bet anything here, it'd be Scheffler minus 140. In fact, like when at some point today, he was plus 140 and I was really considering just betting that, but I felt like an idiot for not doing 11-1. So I'm like, maybe I should just lay off of this for now. But if I see Scheffler at like plus money at any point on Sunday, I will consider him for sure. Especially because we have Sahith Theegala live and we have Ludwig Aubert live. So it's almost the hedge. Although it'd be nice if like Aubert was here and Theegala was here, and like Straka and Morikawa weren't in this, but it is a long day, a lot can change. So yeah, I do think Scheffler's going to win. It says 53% to win. So yeah, that goes. It kind of makes sense. So
yeah, I'm considering it too. So the two bets that I have in play, I took Aubert at 14-1 before day one. There's actually I put 20 on it, and there's actually an early cash out 22.36.
Okay.
So I could take 236 if I wanted to now, and then Theegala top 5. I have a good feeling about Theegala, and when we make our lineups, I'm going to include him in both of mine. I can't back it up on anything else. I think he's going to be there. Like I don't know how I would hedge a top 5 off the top of my head, but I think he's gonna get there. I think I'm gonna get that one. I just have a good feeling about him. But I mean, obviously, I could be wrong. What is his percentage? 46.1. Yeah, I mean, a coin flip essentially. But
yeah. Yeah, no, I like Theegala a lot. I think he's a great fit for this golf course. Aubert as well. I'm kind of surprised Straka's up here. I didn't think it was a great fit for him here, but last year we won Straka at 55-1. I can't remember which tournament it was, but like whichever tournament he was, we had him at 55-1. I don't know. So I think he could take a step back on Sunday. Morikawa is always going to be in the mix. He's one of the best golfers in the world right now, and this Patrick Rogers doesn't seem sustainable to me. Cantlay's really good. Cantlay was great last year. He got off to a slow start this year. Let's look at his numbers here. In 2024. So he's only had one top 10 this year. But like if you look at last year, look at all these, like fifth. He was fifth in the Tour Championship. He was second, fourth, third, second. Like he never won, but he was always in the mix in the top 5. And like this year, he just got off to a slow start. It seems like maybe this 22nd at the Masters kind of got everything kick-started for him. So if he makes a good jump on Sunday, it wouldn't be surprising to me. I imagine he's going to be highly priced once we move the DraftKings. Schauffele is always going to be in the mix. He's always like top 5 ish. So I like him as well. Siwoo Kim always seems to do well on Sundays. He's 9 under right now. Obviously, he's not going to win, but if he finishes top 10, wouldn't be surprising to me. So I think he's worth considering. But yeah, we have some comments here. Hold on. Minus 140 in the golf tournament is an absolutely insane price for a straight up winner. Yeah, normally, but we're talking about Scotty Scheffler, who's this is. I feel like he's going to go on a Tiger Woods type run.
Yeah.
Oh, he says, yeah, I didn't realize the tournament already started. Yeah, Sunday is the
You're good, Eric.
Sunday is the final day. Yeah,
I have it at minus 165 on Hard Rock.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, minus 140 at FanDuel. I wonder. I kind of wonder what he is a bookmaker. He's usually a bookmaker has better prices, but well, hold on. When I'm gonna look at that real fast. And Eric's asking, what were Scotty's odds before the tournament? He was plus 450 heading into the tournament, and like I said, after day one, when he was 7 strokes behind, he was 11-1. And I'm really, man, because I was really considering it, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not sleeping too much these days, which I guess I never slept that much to begin with, but like I'm sleeping even less now, and I don't know, I feel like my judgment's impaired, and like Friday was pretty brutal because I said this on Thursday's show. I had my daughter myself because my son had to go undergo a procedure. He had to get like tubes in his ears, but like the procedure place was like 45 minutes away from us. It was near my in-laws' house, so my wife just took my son to my in-laws' house, so they'd have to make a short drive. So it was just me and my daughter, and like I got no sleep that night. I got like I usually get like 4.5 hours of sleep. I only got like 2.5 that night, so I felt like my judgment was impaired, and like I do day trading every day as well, just like buying calls or puts on options or whatever. And I made some mistakes, and I still came out plus money, but like I was like, man, I was like, why did I sell there? Like, why did I buy that? Like just made a lot of mistakes on Friday. So so
you never led me wrong in the market, that's for sure.
I never did.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, there's that.
If you did, maybe one, but it was not one that I was like heavily into. So like, yeah, you've always led me to the promised land, man. So
well, let's not forget the AMC fiasco.
Yeah.
But that was, I don't know. I feel like Adam Aaron sabotaged his company.
Yeah.
So Scotty Scheffler to win this tournament is minus 133 a bookmaker. Okay, so a little bit better. And Morikawa, if you like Morikawa, he's plus 750 at bookmaker.
I might actually take. I mean, look at the thing. Look at the glaring outlier of what everyone shot today. Scheffler -8, and look at the top 12. There's no one even close.
Right.
There's a 5. See a 5 in there. I think someone else shot 6 -6.
Yes,
but it just seems to me that it's such an outlier to me. You might go unless you think he's going to have to leave for the birth of his child.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to leave on a Sunday. Like, what is it gonna be in the 9th hole? But like, get a phone call and just leave. Like, I feel like he just finished, and like when your wife goes into labor, it's not like right away. It's
right.
It takes a while. Yeah, we're sorting by today. Scheffler 8 under, then Toasty 6 under, Shankopotamus 6 under. So yeah, we have a bunch of 5s as well. Although what's his face? JT Poston went 9 under on Thursday. Don't know what he's done since. Where's Poston? He went 9 under on Thursday, and then a combined 3 under on Friday and Saturday. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, all right, let's jump to DraftKings here. Let me enlarge this here. So Scheffler is 13,000. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, or Tom, if you're familiar with day 4 showdown. So it's a little different than day 1, 2, and 3 showdown because they count points placement. They count the placement for points. So this scoring here is not the same. So as you see, like, so tournament finish scoring, you're added 13 points, 10 points, 9 points, 8.5. So you don't have this in day 1 through 3. They don't factor in tournament finishing.
Okay, so what you're telling me is there could be some surprises at the end if I don't realize how much, like, the additional points that they're going to assign at the end once the final placement. Is that?
Oh, I mean, it'll be assigned right away. Like, if you take Scheffler, you'll get 13. You'll have 13 to start right away.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, and if he falls to second, then you'll have.
Okay, that's what I thought. Sorry, I thought you were saying something else. My bad.
Yeah. So yeah, if he falls to second, you'll have 10 points. From him, plus whatever he's doing. So like that means these top guys have more added value. but not that you want to play all the top guys. I mean, you can't, like, so you have salary restrictions here. So, so I don't know. Did you have anyone in mind for playing this?
I definitely want Thigala in there. Okay. I feel like I have to. I don't know. I should at least try to put Scheffler in there at least as a placeholder for now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could always remove him, but if you have Thigala and Scheffler, you have $7,025 to spend over your 4 players. So that to me says obviously you need to take a guy in the 6K range. Now you played Woodland today.
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Man, he was honed in. Not only he did a bogey-free round, but I didn't realize that I didn't realize at first that he birdied that last hole, and he got the three consecutive birdies. He was 0.78% owned. So that's it was crazy. It was a huge help to me. But I don't know. I mean, he had a really bad first day, but I mean, is he gonna have another day like he did today? Probably not. But at the same time, he's probably going to be low owned again, and maybe he's in the zone. I mean, clearly he was today more than he was the last couple of days. So I don't know. I would consider it. Obviously, it was a good play for me today. So,
well, that he's going to be higher owned because he did so well. Now he's not going to jump from 0.7 to 10% or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But if he's like 2 or 3% suddenly, it wouldn't surprise me, and like that makes him less attractive. And I don't know. I mean, how many times is Gary Woodland going to shoot 5 under? Like that seems unrealistic to me. Like he's not good. Let's pull him up here and see how poorly he's done this season. Gary Woodland, where are you? All right, so 2024, cut, 39th cut, 72nd cut, 20. You got 21st and then cut at the Masters. So he has not done well this year, and there's a reason why he's so cheap. I don't know. I mean, like, this is lightning striking twice. I think you have to choose someone else.
Fair enough. How about Nick Taylor? I had him in one of my lineups, and he's very cheap, and he did decently for me. I can't remember who was on the show last week, so they kind of liked him. I know he didn't do too well at the Masters. I
believe it was Nuggets liked him because he was talking up the Canadians.
Right. He had a nice showing today, 6,400. So that could free up some space if we want to, if we're looking to get some other big boppers in here.
Yeah, so Nick Taylor has a win earlier this year. In my rankings heading into the tournament, he was 21st. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy. Hold on, let me jump back to where we were. Okay, so yeah, Nick Taylor, how much was he? 6,400. Yeah, here he is. 6,400 for a guy who's right outside my top 20. It seems pretty good to me. So I like that quite a bit. So now we jump up to 7,200 left per player. And like the fact that Scheffler's in our lineup means I think we're going to have 2 6K guys in here. So the question is, who do we have as the other 6K guy?
Well, here's what's interesting. Now let me Toasty. I don't Toasty Hose 6,100 had a really good showing today. I had them in my lineup that won, I believe, or that either won or placed really high. But I just feel, especially at that price, they're probably going to be Toasty's probably going to be highly owned. Yeah. That seems like a steal. They're -9. Toasty's -9.
Yeah,
at 6,100. That could end up being, chalky, I guess. A nice.
Yeah, Toasty's he had a second place earlier this year, but otherwise, cut 75th, cut 43rd, cut 70th. So like I wouldn't expect him to have another great day. Toasty for me, let's see where I had him ranked heading into the tournament. I had him second to last, only ahead of Kevin Kisner. So right behind Gary Woodland. So I wouldn't expect him to do well again.
Okay. Well, you know what? If I've got one for the 6,700 or 6,000 range, 6,700. Why don't we go back with Grillo again? It's someone that you liked before he started. I thought he looked like he was going to have a better day than he did today, but he didn't do too badly. He was low owned, and he didn't do well enough that people, as opposed to some of the other, like Woodland, for example, that everyone might be all over tomorrow. So I would consider Grillo again.
Yeah, Grillo, I kind of like. So he was 11th or 10th in my model heading into the tournament. So I do like him. Another golfer I would consider in this range is Bryce Garnett. So I didn't have stats on this guy because he didn't really he hasn't played in enough tournaments thus far this year because he was on the Corn Ferry Tour, but he graduated to the tournament and he actually won the Puerto Rico Open, which was an alternate event. But he won that and then 35th, and then he got cut here. But I didn't have stats on him, so like I just didn't. I didn't really consider him, but he's 12th right now, and so we're talking about placement points. Like Grillo, I believe is what place he's 50th, so he's never going to be in contention for these placement points. But if like Bryce Garnett does really well, suddenly right now you're going to get he's 12th, so you're going to get 5. What if he jumps up to like 6th place and gets he gets 7.5 points like on top of what he does? So I think that's something you have to consider as well. And plus he's a lot cheaper too.
So and it gives points for what, top 40?
Yeah, I believe.
Okay, so so you're saying I understand what you're saying. So if he's out of it, puts us at a disadvantage as opposed to somebody who's going to be.
Well, it looks like top 50. You only get half a point from 40.
Okay, so essentially nothing. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you need. I think you need to be in like the top 15, I guess. 5 plus 5 points or whatever. But yeah, I would
same argument for Nick Taylor then too.
Right. Yeah. Nick Taylor's 50th. So I think it's okay to have one of these guys. But I would I like Bryce Garnett. He's $500 cheaper too. So let's put him in. And now we have 77.50. So we can actually have like real golfers here. Outside of that. So
let me see here.
So I mean, I think Patrick Rogers here is a trap. He's 4th, so he's going to get a lot of attention for that because of the placement points. And I think he could struggle compared to the other guys. Same with Seamus Power. Like these guys aren't that great. So I would consider someone in the 7K range who's like 20th to 30th. Even like Denny McCarthy again. He's 21st. If he has another great showing, he could pop up to the top 10. And that would get you good placement points plus and I think this is a good course for him. So I think McCarthy's worth considering.
I was gonna say him too, actually. I think he had a couple bogeys today. But he had a good showing out there. He was in one of my lineups as well. I don't know if we're going to be able to get there. Would you want like Jordan Spieth or anything like that, or are you kind of Lowry? Jacob liked Lowry last week for the Masters. What about Power? Power had a really good day.
I don't think Seamus Power is that great though.
I got
I think he's a trap because people see 7th, like, oh, he could jump up to 3rd and get good placement points, but
right.
I just don't think. Yeah, go.
The same thing too. People are like Woodland. People are probably going to jump on it maybe after he had a good showing today. So
right.
Yeah. Would you want to get back to Bhatia? Can we?
I don't know if Bhatia is healthy because he hurt his shoulder when he won. So I was going to stay away from him until he proves that he's healthy. But like with 8,200, we have Sepilan Straka here left. Now he's 2nd. He's 15 under. I didn't have him rated highly heading into the tournament, but he won a tournament last year. So he's a good golfer. So I would, I consider finishing with him here. No, it's not like ideal though. Ideally, like someone like Hoagie I think would be better. He's 12 under. He's 7th right now. I thought he's a good course fit. I thought he's a better course fit than Straka was. Spieth is a good course fit too. I believe he won this tournament 2 years ago, or at least he was the runner-up. I think he was the runner-up last year. So he could certainly win it. I mean, Poston had a great first day and then did nothing after that.
I feel like Straka is probably going to be pretty high owned. What do you think?
I do too. Yeah, I do too. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to put him in.
What about is it Jaeger or Jaeger? I mean, he's in 11, that minus 11, 7,600. I had him today. He did really well. Everyone, I mean, I won, so everyone did really well.
Yes, Stefan Jaeger beat Scotty Scheffler at the Houston Open a few weeks ago. I think it was on Easter Sunday. So like Scheffler needed a 3-foot putt to send it to extra holes, and he missed it. But yeah, that was like that was the last time Scheffler didn't win a tournament. It's good he got second. So I mean, Jaeger is proven. He's 11 under. So he could get good placement points if he finishes well. So I kind of like it. I like that a lot. So we could put him in. We could have 600 left, or we could upgrade McCarthy to someone in the 7,900 range. I don't quite know who. I mean, Tom Kim's a fine choice, I think. Although I can't say I really love anyone in this range. Now, of course, you could take Scheffler out and try to go like the Oberg range, Oberg strategy, or Morikawa strategy, and try to like hope that Scheffler does poorly. And you could actually you could probably hedge it with betting Scheffler to win. Like you can enter a lineup without Scheffler and hedge it with Scheffler to win.
Good thought.
Yeah. So that's something that could be done. Hypothetically, like if you take let's take Jaeger out and move Scheffler and put in Oberg, you'd have 10-4 left, and you could have Morikawa in. So like that looks a lot better, I think. But then you don't like Scheffler is most likely to win, and I think that like the way he's golfing right now, like I said, Scheffler's out of his mind. So I think that you might have to have Scheffler in there to win. So
yeah, and I plan on having him in both. I'm gonna do 2 lineups. I like McCarthy again, as well. Yeah. I think we have. Do we have him in there?
Yeah, we have McCarthy in here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like some of these guys that had really good outings today, I don't want to get. Well, maybe I do. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't want to take one of these players who could potentially not do well, and they're highly it ends up being all chalk. But I don't know. But I mean, you do have to get some. I mean, you do have to get some of the big players. You can't be too good. That's my problem with these. And like golf, I've done all right. Hockey, I'm good at, but football and basketball, I'm not that good at. But it's I think because I try to be too contrarian about it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of variance in golf, unless you're Scotty Scheffler. It's a lot of variance in golf.
Right.
So like you see a guy go, like I said, Poston. You see a guy, you can go 9 under on day one. You're like, oh my god, is he going to go 36 under for this tournament? No, I mean he's at 12 under now.
Do you think? What about Eckroat? He had a really nice first day and then kind of dropped off their second day. Maybe people kind of short term memory. I mean, I guess it's possible he could have another good day. 7,500. I don't know. I didn't get to see him. I didn't get to see him play, so I'm asking.
Yeah, I like Eckroat. He's 29th in my model. He's not a good putter, but that was like the only issue with him. But yeah, I mean, he could certainly spike. He can have a 6 under day for sure. I mean, he's not a bad golfer. I like your Jaeger call better than that, because if he has a 6 under day, you're talking about him being 17 under, which it's not going to win this tournament, but it could be enough for a top 5. Mm-hmm. And then you get those placement points. Whereas like if Eckroat goes 6 under, he's not going to be top 5. He's at 12 under. Like he might come close to the top 10. What is top 10 right now? Top 10 right now is it's 12 on. Yeah, 12 under. So yeah, he's definitely not going to be top 10. He might be he's going to be top 20 for sure. But
who, Jaeger?
No, I mean no. I was talking about Eckroat if he goes 6 under today. Finishes 12 under. Whereas like if Jaeger goes 6 under and finishes 17 under, he could be in the top 5 mix. Which will get you those placement points. And like that's the difference between day 3 and day 4. Whereas like yesterday you wouldn't have cared about this. Like now I think you have to consider guys who are like in the top, who are like in the 15 to 30 range, who could really jump up if they have a great day.
Yeah, I'm going to put Thigala in both my lineups. As I was saying earlier, I have him. I bet him to finish top 5.
Mhm.
I don't know why. It's just a quacky feeling. I really think he's going to hold. He's going to stay up there. He'll finish in the top 5. Obviously, anything can happen, but I feel pretty confident about him. So I don't know. What do you think his owner? Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot with these questions, but I always feel like you know all this. Well, like, do you think Thigala will be higher owned? I mean, he's doing really well, so I think that's the obvious answer is yes. But
I think anyone in the top 5 is going to be highly owned, just because you get those placement points.
Right.
So, like, I mean, Thigala's live to win this, and you get plus 13 if you win it. Like, that's big game, and you have to consider, you have to consider like you have to kind of have to envision how you think this tournament's going to end. If this tournament ends, Scheffler 1, Thigala 2, like, you're going to be doing pretty great. And then hypothetically, if you have Jaeger in here, let's just put him in. If you have Jaeger here and he has a 6 under, and like, let's just say Scheffler wins at 22 under today, Thigala is second at 20 under, and Jaeger finishes 17 under, and he's top 5. Like, I mean, your lineup's gonna be great, and you're hoping for Garnett to jump up to 17 under. What is Garnett's score right now? He's 10 under, so you're hoping for him to jump up to like 15 under and be in the top 10 conversation. And you're hoping for McCarthy to be in the top 10 conversation as well. Like that's what you're hoping for to happen. And so, like, Nick Taylor it looks like the weak link here, because he's 50th place and he has no chance to be in the top 10 or top 20 is even stretch. So like that's what I'd say about this. But luckily we have 600 left, and we could take out Nick Taylor and we could put in someone else. Harris English, for example. I really like Harris English coming to this tournament. He was 11th in my model. And he's 7 under right now. He's 25th. So if he has a 6 under today, it's gonna be 13 under, which is it's gonna be close to the top 10. I don't think it's gonna be quite top 10, but you're gonna get some decent placement points with him. Eric Cole's another one. He's a really good golfer. He's 8 under right now. You have Thomas Dietrich, 10 under. There's a lot of variance with him, but Dietrich's a guy who can have a great day. I could see him having a spike Sunday. So I with this lineup, I would play one of those guys. I would play English, Cole, or Dietrich as your last guy here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna play around with that a little bit. And then do you want to? I mean, if you still want to play around with that one weekend, do you want to build one too without Scheffler?
Yeah. Yeah. So we could definitely do that. So all right. So no Scheffler. You still want Thigala in, I assume. And you kind of have to decide how like I said before, you have to envision what you think the leaderboard is going to look like. So you could have Thigala winning or second place. Who do you have winning in this scenario? Do you have Oberg winning?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would definitely want to put Oberg. I like Oberg better than Morikawa, but I mean, I'm open to subbing him out too, and either way. But I'm also biased because I bet Oberg before the tournament started, so maybe that so take that for what it's worth.
Right. So you have this. Let's put a cheapie as a placeholder for now. So if you're putting Garnett, you're at 8,000 left per player, which is a good spot to be in. Like you have a lot of options here. You could have 3 8,000 guys, or you could jump to Morikawa and then have 7,000 left, or you could try a Wyndham Clark, who's is $1,000 cheaper than he was last week, and has 7,500 left over. Or you can just do a balanced approach from there. Like maybe Tom Hoagie, who's tied for 7th right now. Or you have Straka. Although I would not play Straka if you have Thigala Oberg already. It seems like it's gonna be hard for him to be optimal. I think so. Yeah, I don't know any ideas here. Like what how would you approach this? Siwoo Kim, by the way, Siwoo Kim's a guy I like a lot too. He's 8,300. Great course fit for him. If he has a spike day, he's gonna be 15 under or 16 under. I mean that'll definitely get you there.
Well, I like the Hoagie call here, but I guess my hesitation, and I'm deferring to you, is do you think he'll be highly owned at such a? But I mean, if he's up there, it might, some of the like the winning lineups are going to have some highly owned players too. So that's
it's okay to play. It's okay to play highly owned players, especially if you don't have a lineup with Scheffler, because that'll automatically differentiate you.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a couple of highly owned players. You just don't want all highly owned players. Like, you just want a couple guys to differentiate you, and that's it. I mean, look at your lineup today. You had some highly owned players, but you had Woodland at less than 1% ownership. So
right,
that's all it took to differentiate
really
you.
What made the difference?
Right, exactly. That was enough to differentiate you. So, I mean, you only need to be really different in one or two spots. So
yeah, let's put Power in there and see what it leaves us with.
Seamus Power. Where is he?
Unless you got power. Maybe that is.
No.
It's from Back to the Future too. Hey, McFly, everyone knows hoverboards don't work on water unless you got power.
Man, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I love the second one. I love them all.
I loved it too. I haven't seen it in forever. I wouldn't get any of the references. All right, so we have Power in here. So we have 8,500 left per golfer. So yeah, I mean, you could still have Hoagie. You could have Siwoo Kim. You could have Justin Thomas, I think, is an option. I don't like Justin Thomas, but people do. You can even have Jaeger. If you put in Jaeger, you have 9,400 left, and that leads you with.
How about we put in Jaeger and Jordan Spieth?
So we put in Spieth and we put in Jaeger, and we have 800 left. So we could upgrade someone. We could upgrade Garnett. We could upgrade Power. With upgrading Power would take us to 7,900, which is Finau, Thomas, Harman, Beniana, Kirk. Doesn't seem great. Or if we upgrade Garnett, we go to 7,000, which is you have Eric Cole. I think Eric Cole is a great choice, or Thomas Dietrich. So let's do that.
King Cole.
So you go to Dietrich here, and you have every golfer right now is top 25 or higher. And no Scheffler gets you differentiated, and I think Dietrich's probably lower owned, or I think Power's gonna be highly owned because he's so cheap and he's in 7th place. But it's fine. That's fine. Something like this could win for sure. So that's something you guys could do. If you do make a lineup like this, choose one other person, because then there might be duplicates. But yeah, that's what I would go with. Cinder says hello. Wrestling with History says Garcia wins. Who's Garcia? Sergio Garcia is not in this tournament. I knew that. I mean, just Sergio Garcia is in Live, so I don't know. Haney lost is a minus 950 favorite. Okay, so Eric says, my buddy Degeneron, one of your viewers, plans on spamming Charlie with a bunch of super chat questions on Tuesday. Tell Charlie be ready for quite a few draft questions. Can't wait. Yeah, I love having Charlie on. He's the best. And he's going to give us quite a lot of information. So talking about boxing. Okay. I see. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. You're muted, Tom?
I'm over here like in my own little world.
I felt like you had something interesting to say. I just couldn't hear it.
No, I said I'll be there on Tuesday for the show with Charlie. I'll be in here warming up the crowd.
Nice.
In the comment section, getting them rowdy.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm gonna confirm with Charlie on Tuesday. If he can't come on Tuesday, I'll try to schedule like a Monday show or something. Either way, he will be on the show at some point. So, looking forward to that. Yeah. So, any other thing? Anything else here before we move on to Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good foundation for I am going to do one lineup with Scheffler and one without, but I really think it's. They said it's like he's essentially a little bit better than a coin flip to win. Yeah, like on paper, but I think he could pull away like he did today, as I pointed out earlier, he was such an outlier, -8, as opposed to like the next closest in the top 15 was what, 5?
Yep.
Which is also a great score too, but it's like a men against the boys situation coming. So, but I mean, I guess other if the Gall and Oberg and another one of like Jaeger, what is he, 11th place? If they all sneak in the top 5, like that's going to really play well.
Yeah.
And could maybe beat.
Look at Scheffler so far this year. So he started 5th, 17th, 6th, 3rd, 10th, win, second win.
Jeez,
this is crazy. So what happened earlier this year, and this happened late last year. He had some issues with his putter. He was just like really, like if you look, I love how the site has all the stats. Like look at the red for putting. Like he lost strokes putting, where like everything else is in the green. So he was just something in his head was just like messing with his putter. And then to start the year, it was the same thing. And you notice he's gained strokes putting ever since this Genesis Invitational, which is February 18th, and then Arnold Palmer Invitational was March 10th. In that month, he changed his putter. And it's apparently it's done wonders for him because now he's like putting well. Like that was his only weakness. And like he fixed his weakness, his one weakness, and like no wonder he's winning or getting second place. Like he's just playing out of his mind right now.
This is really incredible.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So top 3 or better in what's that? 5 of the last 6. That's incredible.
Yeah. It's insane, yeah. And ever since he switched his putter, he's been second or first in every tournament, including the Masters, which includes the live players, which is like yeah, I think he could go on a Tiger Woods type run, even though he may not be as good as Tiger at his peak. But the thing with like Tiger is that Tiger had more competition because there weren't two leagues, like Tiger had all the top competition, whereas like Scotty Scheffler only has to go against Koepka at majors. He only has to go against Rahm at majors. He only has to go against Bryson DeChambeau at majors or Joaquin Niemann at majors. Like he doesn't have to face these guys ever unless it's a major. So it's crazy.
Can you explain for the viewers and also me? I really don't know. I mean, I only really started watching golf recently in the last year since since I've been talking about it with you. Like all I know about live is that like the ownership is of like questionable reputation, like they have to make a choice, like it's one or the other. I really like know next to nothing. And then my second part of the question is, if you were a pro golfer, which would you have done? You're allowed to decline to answer.
I'll answer anything on here. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I never decline to answer anything. In fact, by the way, after I answer this question, I have to bring something up to you. In that vein. So live is basically like imagine. Okay, let me do a football comparison. Imagine if like you have the NFL, and imagine if an XFL league started, except it wasn't a joke, and it actually occurred the same time as the NFL. And it actually managed to sign good players. Like imagine if like translating golf to football, like Scheffler right now is Patrick Mahomes, right? But let's just say Mahomes is still going to be in the NFL. But what if the XFL managed to pull Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa and Josh Allen and let's just another maybe like a Kirk Cousins and also some lesser guys like a Daniel Jones, like a Gardner Minshew, like guys who would sometimes start, so they'd have a couple top guys and a bunch of like mid-range guys, and like suddenly what would the NFL look like if they lost a couple, like 3 or 4 top quarterbacks, some good ones, and then some good backups? Like you'd have some really bad quarterbacking in the NFL on some teams. Now, of course, you'd still have your Scheffler Mahomes guy, and you still have like a Colin Morikawa who might be, I don't know who would he be, like a Lamar Jackson, for example. You still have those guys, so you still have some great quarterbacks. But like it would be like feast or famine in the NFL. Like you'd have some really good teams, and like you'd have some teams with some dreadful quarterbacking who would not be competitive at all. And so that's basically what's happened with Live. So like Live is an organization that spun off of PGA, and so they just threw a ton of money at Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, and Tyrrell Hatton, a bunch of guys who are really good at golf and who would give Scheffler great competition every week. They just stole these guys from PGA, and it's its own tournament. They go to fancy places like PGA usually goes around the US. Like sometimes they'll go to like Mexico or Puerto Rico or whatever. And like in July they go overseas to England and Scotland. But like it's usually the US. Whereas like Live, they play in like Dubai, and like they play in like Hong Kong. Like they play all over the world. But like they only play 3-day tournaments. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday for them. And so like it's seen as like a joke, and like I don't know, like the past couple of majors, like the guys on Sunday like who played in Live have like meltdowns because they're not used to playing 4-day tournaments anymore. They're used to playing 3-day tournaments, and so like the 4th day is like so tiring for them. Like Bryson DeChambeau had like a meltdown on Sunday at the Masters. So yeah, like that tends that John Rahm had a bad Sunday. So yeah, so it seems like, so to answer your last question, would you do PGA or Live? Like it depends on like what I would value more. Like what like if my goal was to have the best golf career possible, I would stay in PGA. But if I cared more about the money and just cashing out, I'd go to Live, because that seems to like, it seems like everyone who's gone to Live has gotten worse. Like Brooks Koepka, his first 2 majors after joining Live, like he was great. Remember the Masters, he was winning and then he collapsed at the end. Like again, the 4th day. He collapsed
a month later.
Right. Yeah. And then the next month he won the PGA Championship. But then the next 2 majors he did not do well. And then this past Masters he was really bad.
Yeah.
So like it seems like he's gotten worse. John Rahm has gotten worse. It seems like every golfer who goes to Live has gotten worse.
Interesting.
So for me, I'm not a golfer, so I can't quite say it. But like, if talking website terms, would I want to have the best website possible, or would I would just cash out for money? I think I'd rather, having the best website possible comes with money too, So, I'd rather stay in PGA, but that's just me. I can understand people cashing out,
That was a really good explanation.
Well, thank you.
You should be on television. What do we got? Oh, the boss has some draft questions here.
Yeah, fire them away. I mean, we let the audience dictate where we go with the show. So, I mean, cool. Please let us know what questions you have. Just fire them away. We'll talk about Game of Thrones, and then we can jump back to the draft.
We'll go back and forth.
All right. So, Game of Thrones, you watched season 2, episode 8 and 9. Episode 9 is Battle of the Blackwater. Fantastic episode, I thought. I loved how there was a back and forth between the fighting scenes, a lot of tension, and then you'd have the scenes with Cersei and the women, and like obviously there's no fighting tension there, but there's still a tension because something bad could happen, and then they had the executioner in there who's ordered to kill the women should anything happen. So what are your thoughts on these 2 episodes?
I mean, you didn't lie. The episode 9 was really fantastic. The battle scenes the shots were it was really epic. But I guess Tyrion died. I mean, it looked like it didn't look like he was decapitated, but they didn't officially say it. I'm assuming he did. And I was really bummed near the end of that episode when he said that he'll lead them everyone into battle. I was like, damn it, there goes my favorite character now.
Well, Ned was your favorite character before, and
exactly. I'm probably going to pick everyone that, anyhow. But I really love the part I was telling you back in the green room that I love. Joffrey was kind of outed as a coward, and I was saying to you that I wonder if that's going to humble him at all moving forward. But yeah, I thought. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
I loved how Joffrey was ordered by his mom to go back, and like he hesitated, and he's like, "What business did she have?" Like
what's
making excuses to go back.
I also really like the when it's like, tell the king that I was doing this. Like, man, tell the like they weren't talking to each other right before they were. But then also, what was the stuff that boat was pouring out? That obviously there's something flammable. What do they call, wildfire?
Yeah, that was the wildfire. Remember, there's that old
that stuff that he was showing that You showed him in the glass.
Yes, yeah,
Now
the
I
green
remember. Now I
green
remember.
substance. By the way, trivia. Oh, no, it's kind of a trivia here, but the old man who is in charge, the pyromancer who's in charge of the wildfire, he is the narrator of the Game of Thrones audiobooks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's
But
cool.
yeah. So they got Stannis with the wildfire. Poor Davos' son died, or you'd assume he died. I love Davos, by the way. They don't really go too much into him. I know episode 8 they did some of his background, but they talked about how he became Stannis's hand, basically his right hand man. But like he smuggled in food to Storm's End during the attempted siege. So I love Davos. Shame for him that his son had to pass away. What are your thoughts, by the way, on the man who attacked Tyrion during battle? Did you kind of quite understand what happened there?
I'm not sure I did, because you mentioned it, and I don't think I was paying close enough attention, because I was just kind of I love that all the sequences were so cool. I was really glued to it.
No.
But no, I didn't. I will go back and check it out. But
so that was the person who struck him down was Sir Mandon. He was one of Joffrey's, basically one of his lieutenants, basically, who was one of the guardsmen. So it was someone on his side who struck him. And the person who ended up killing Sir Mandon was the young boy who's helping Tyrion out, Podrick Payne. So they actually go more into Podrick Payne in future seasons. So you're going to see this guy more, a lot more going forward, Podrick Payne. But he is related to the Executioner. The Executioner is Ilan Payne, and this is Podrick Payne. So I think they're cousins or nephews. Can't remember which one, but they are related to one another. But yeah, Sir. By the way, and Sir Ilan Payne, the Executioner. He died after this second season, so you're not going to see him again. He died of like throat cancer or something. So which is a shame, because he's still prominent in the books, and he's one of the names that Arya names before she goes to sleep, because he chopped their father's head off, so she wants to get revenge on him. But actually, after season 2, because the actor died, she stops naming him, which is a shame, because he's more prominent in the book. So.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, so he and Podrick Payne are related, and Podrick Payne ends up avenging Tyrion by slaying Sir Mandon. So that was pretty cool. So Podrick's a pretty cool character. So, a couple of things I wanted to ask you. If you want any more other thoughts, and then I wanted to ask you a couple of things.
For the love of everything that's sacred, will Jon Snow and that sneaky redhead just freaking do it already? Quit spooning and get down to it. It's just and then Stark's kid, and Talisa is her name, right?
Rob Stark and Talisa.
I love her. She's awesome.
What would hold on. Let me read this question from the boss, and then I want to ask you. He says, so the Cardinals trade the Vikings, and QB does go forth. Since the Chargers want to trade down, who would they trade down with, and for who? Do you think the Cardinals could trade the 5 for Neighbors? Actually, Dane Brugler in his mock draft has the Cardinals doing exactly that, going from 4 to 11 and then back up to 5. So they could be wheeling and dealing, kind of like draft day. Could be something similar. But yeah, the Chargers moved down. Denver could trade up for a quarterback. The Raiders, any of these teams that want quarterbacks, a team that wants to get a receiver too. Like don't forget those. You have the Jets. The Jets don't have that much ammo, but like they could maybe. The Colts. I know like the Colts wanted to trade for Jerry Jeudy. They had interest in AJ Brown. So why not just trade up for Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr.? Like the Colts are 15. I could see them pulling the trigger on a trade for a receiver. Who else is there? Like teams that can move up. So you have I don't think the Titans would at 7. Giants at 6. It doesn't really make sense. Atlanta at 8. Could Atlanta move up for a receiver? Maybe. I don't think that's out of the question. 9 Bears. No, they want more resources. They want to trade down. So Jets don't have resources at 10. And then you have the Vikings who already traded up. So you have Arizona there. Arizona can move up like we talked about. At 12, you have the Broncos who could trade up for a quarterback. You have the Raiders 13 could trade up for a quarterback. 14 Saints, I don't think so. I don't think they have the resources. Colts, yes. Seahawks. Seahawks are a wild card. I don't think they will, but they could. What if the Jaguars move up for a receiver from 17 to 5? I don't think that's like impossible. If they have extra picks, they could do it. So if the Jaguars, they kind of I think like a year ago, we kind of assumed that the Jaguars are going to run the AFC South for a while because they have Trevor Lawrence, and like now they're like behind the Texans, who got Stephon Diggs. So if I'm the Jaguars, I'm like, well, we need our own Stephon Diggs, and maybe that's a Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. So maybe they make a trade of some sort. So yeah, I feel like those teams could all pull the trigger. So hope that answers your question. If you have any other questions, let me know, the boss. So Tom, what do you think? What would you have done if you're Rob Stark? Because Rob Stark was promised to Walder Frey. Remember in season 1, that old man who was like 90 who had like all these kids in his hall because he had so many wives. So Rob Stark promised to marry Walder Frey's daughter, any daughter of his choosing, because he has like $1 million. So would you have kept your word and married the daughter, or would you have married this Talise woman you fell in love with? What would you done if you're in Rob Stark's shoes?
I'm married to Talise, and I don't look back.
Okay.
She could saw off my ankle any day, you know. No, I really like her. I like her character, and she's very beautiful too. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen what's the situation with Jon Snow in this. I don't know. This Reddit, I'll be honest, she kind of gets on my nerves a little bit.
Oh, I love her, Egret. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, Egret. Yeah.
Yeah, she's. I like her a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's. She's responsible for one of the most famous quotes in Game of Thrones. It's just you know nothing, Jon Snow, which is said. It's only been said once, but it's gonna be said a lot more, I promise. So,
okay.
I think she's great. I think she and Jon Snow have great chemistry, and I think you'll see it more coming up.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I have one more episode to go for season, and until we get into season 3 here. But are there going to be new characters in 3?
There'll be some new characters. There's always going to be some new characters.
Right,
not like crazy, but characters die. You're going to have to replace them. Right. So,
characters like the people from Karth and whatnot,
yeah, there are going to be new cities and whatnot. The Tyrells become more prominent. The Tyrells were, remember the Renly Baratheon's wife to be, or his wife, that brown haired woman she's like, I want to be the queen. And Marjorie Tyrell. So like her grandmom is known as the Queen of Thorns. And she's a really cool character. She's on the level of Varys and Littlefinger, like scheming wise.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna be in season 3 onward. She's fantastic. Like you're gonna like her a lot.
All right.
So you're gonna get more into the Tyrells. Another new character who kind of popped up this season, and maybe I don't know if you noticed. You have Rob Stark's 2 main lieutenants. You have Car Stark, who's you may have noticed him. He's the guy with long white hair who's mad that his son was killed when Jaime tried to escape.
Right,
so his two main allies are the Car Starks. That's that guy I just mentioned, and then the Boltons. Roose Bolton. He's the guy with like. He's kind of balding, and he's like my bastard will take Winterfell. Like you remember that conversation?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay, so you have Roose Bolton there and his bastard Ramsay Snow. Those 2 characters will be more prominent as well. Roose Bolton is a major character going forward as well. So I just wanted to know if you had noticed him and his mentioning of the bastard. Like you're going to see that bastard soon too.
I did, but I didn't really like. But I do remember him saying it now, but I didn't like take necessarily note of it. But because he's the one that was mad at Cat Stark for like the trade that she made behind Rob's back, but to get the daughters back, right?
Yeah, well, that was Car Stark, the long-haired white guy, the long white-haired guy. Because his son was killed, he wanted revenge on Jaime Lannister. Mm-hmm. It's a tough spot. Like, what do you do if you're Rob Stark there? Like, do you get your top Lieutenant Revenge for the son and kill your only leverage to get your sisters back, or do you deny him and kind of make an enemy of one of your top allies? Like, what do you do? That's a tough spot. I remember just watching it again, and I'm like, man, Rob Stark's in between a rock and a hard place here, and it's like his mom made things easier for him on one hand by freeing Jamie, but on the other hand, what if Jamie escapes and then you're screwed. Like you're back where you started. So
I'll tell you what, if that was the environment that I was born into, I'd go live in a tree, man. I was telling you earlier, you can't. I mean, I know it's part of the show. It's part of the drama, but like, you can't trust anybody.
Well, I mean, you could live on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and then some deranged guy comes and kills your two boys because he's looking for other two boys. Referring to Theon, of course.
Right. That's. I guess there's probably nowhere that's really safe.
No, not in that time. No, you could. I don't know. I feel like I don't even know where you would go. I don't know where you go to be safe, to be honest. I think everything's like a death trap in that time.
I mean, I guess like if you were in a situation like if that's all you knew, like it's just kind of how things are for you. Like you might not realize, like, I guess like what I mean, like, like in the days of like taking a different direction, like the days of cavemen, like it was just like all about survival. Now, like, we can sit around here staring at rectangles and TVs and
now we talk about TV shows instead of like fending for our lives. You know what the safest? I just thought of this. The safest position to be in Game of Thrones world, or any environment like that, is to be a blacksmith, because those people would never be killed. Like they'd invade towns and stuff like that. They would spare the blacksmiths, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're making weapons for us now. Agreed?" And you'd be like, "Yes, okay." And that's why there's so many people with the name Smith. So they descended from blacksmiths.
You were telling me that. That's really interesting. That's a good little tidbit. Yeah. I could never do a trade like that. I wish, kind of in hindsight, sometimes instead of college degree, I would have gone to like a trade school. But I have no mind for that. Like, do you think you could do something like that, like a blacksmith? I feel like I'd never be able to figure it out. I don't have a mind for like being handy. I don't know. Are you handy?
I'm the worst with being handy. My wife yells at me all the time. She's like, "Why don't you fix this stuff?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm just like, I'm not good at it. I just can't do it."
Well, I'm the same way, but I will say I can kind of, like, if your toilet's overflowing, like I can kind of quick rig a toilet, but that's only because I had so much experience clogging them myself. But landscaping.
Yeah, what's your name?
I can do that, but other than that, I could maybe diagnose your car problem just because I've probably had it in the past, but I can't. I can jump a battery and change a tire.
Yep. So
that's something, but like my one uncle can install like an entire bathroom. I wouldn't have the first clue how to do any of that.
Yeah, I don't. No, I'm really bad at that kind of stuff. So
I've also never really tried, but I just feel like I wouldn't be able to figure it out.
No, I don't think I could in like a million years. If you gave me like all that time, I don't think I could ever do it.
Like you don't think you could be like an auto mechanic?
No, I'm good with like numbers and stuff like that and whatnot and whatever. But I just I don't think I could ever do that sort of thing. So I don't know how people do it, but like I don't know. Maybe if I if I did go to those trade schools and I learned, like maybe I could. But like I just can't right now. So like I said, I yelled at it for quite a bit.
I love to drive, and people have told me, several people over the course of my life have always told me, like, you should be a truck driver, because I always love long drives. It's very therapeutic. But there's no way I could do that. I don't like big vehicles like that. Okay. I get nervous driving a U-Haul. I'm afraid that I'm gonna like sideswipe everything because I can't feel the dimensions of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It makes me anxious. My buddy told me, he does some work in Washington, D.C. He drove a box truck in downtown Washington, D.C. I got anxiety just hearing him say that. That sounds like a freaking nightmare.
I drove when I visited my girlfriend in Tulane, this in 2013. I rented a Jeep, and it felt like I could run over anyone, in that thing. And I was like, it felt like so unsafe, but I also felt like super in control. I felt like king of the world almost, just like driving like on top of everyone. Like, I don't know. It was a weird experience. So yeah, I kind of hear what you're saying.
It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand. Remember when people used to say that?
No, I never heard that before.
Yeah, that used to be like the Jeep slogan. It's a Jeep, or people have that like as like a sticker on their back windshield. It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand. It's like, I'm sure I would if you just explained it to me. How freaking complicated could it be?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm sure I have my own version of that, like feeling elitist about the things that you enjoy. I guess we're all guilty of that to some extent. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do I know? Drive your Jeeps and enjoy it. Jeeps are a big deal down here in Florida. Down at Daytona, they have like a whole Jeep week.
Wow.
People come from all over the land. Yeah, that's a pretty
cool.
big deal.
Nice. So. All right, so we're coming up at 2.5 hours, so maybe we should sign off here. So thanks everyone for tuning in, watching, commenting. Really appreciate it, especially Degenerate on with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Degenerate. Really appreciate your support. Guys, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would mean a lot to us. Also, Jerks of the College Years on Amazon. Please consider buying this, or for someone who may enjoy it. Anyone who likes funny stories from college, this is what it's all about. So,
and I can attest, it's a very good book. So,
thank you, Tom.
I've been reading it. I've laughed out loud. Like, maybe I'm slightly biased because some of them people I know, and I was like there at least for some of it. But I think I laughed out loud like 5 times in the first 10 pages. So like you definitely met some interesting characters. So well done.
Yeah. Our friend Cassie, we lived this as well. I told her I published it, and she bought it online. She said, I'm already laughing at the table of contents seeing a metrosexual versus anti-metrosexual that chapter. So I think like you guys, like I said, if you guys like Jerks of the Week, you'll like this. So Tom, do you have anything to plug? Maybe your Twitch channel.
Yeah, I'll do the Twitch. I'm going to jump on for a stream and
Number Munchers.
Oh yeah, I was streaming Number Munchers last night. I got to level 98.
Very cool.
Remember that game? Yeah, I was streaming Number Munchers. It was fun because I thought like I don't know how many levels there are. I guess you keep going, but I got to 98. I thought maybe it would stop at 100, but I'll probably be playing some Mario Kaizo, or maybe I'll play Number Munchers some more.
Nice.
We're just here for the banter and the nonsense, and for those of you who are regulars here, you know what it is. So come on by. I'm also on Twitter. Would love to have you supporting and hang out some more with you. So appreciate you.
Sounds good. I'll be in the chat as well. So definitely hop into Quacky's Twitch chat. It was great to do this with you, Tom. Always a blast. We're not going to see each other this upcoming week because we on Tuesday, Wednesday have draft shows. Thursday is the draft. And like I said before, we're not going to have a Saturday show because I'll be so wiped out from day 3. Day 3 is the toughest one.
Right.
I think we're going to have a Sunday show instead. We're going to recap how I think all the teams did. And then the week after that, maybe we can compensate by having 2 shows or something. So
I'll be right. Yeah, I know next week's a busy week. I'm looking forward to it with the draft, and we'll do a couple shows next week, and looking forward to it, man.
All right, awesome. Sounds good. Once again, thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. Then I will talk to you on Tuesday.